find it. This is what I would expect. Stereotypical. You'll die in a gang war soon. You understand? This is a sentiment that you're trying to reason with. So just take that into consideration when you hear them try to spin the rhetoric and spin the narrative in their favor, although they know, truthfully deep in their soul, they know that this is a racially based and racially motivated speaker. They know that there's
projection alert.
Division.
Projection number one.
Telling them something that they don't already internally know. They're just in denial and want to try to see if they can recruit a couple more or change a couple more minds. Are you?
Yeah, the idea that this man was some, paragon of public discourse and he just, was speaking for the youth and all this stuff. I mean, he spoke for a certain type of reactionary right youth, people who wanted, women to be baby makers and not much else, and a whole bunch of other, very retrograde opinions. Like, yes, he spoke for those people. That's true. That's real. And he didn't speak for most people. He was hateful towards lots of people. There's a reason why he didn't have a reputation for being some great uniter in life. And it's just absolutely ridiculous that people try to say this kind of stuff, like to sort of completely change who he was after the fact. He was who he was. Like, he was not a great uniter. He said all kinds of terrible things. He had the professor watch list to try to intimidate professors. He would put people on the watch list for, basically just saying any opinion that he didn't like. That's not pro-free speech. That's intimidation.
Bill Nye doesn't do that.
This idea that
Bill Nye the nice guy.
Just because he had some campus debates, or, I don't know if they were debates necessarily. Sometimes they were debates. He'd have these discussions that he would host. Does not mean that he was some incredible champion for free speech. And most of what he said was just fucking terrible. Terrible. The idea that he was an anti-gay, while at the same time he was constantly spouting off about his vision of what family should look like, that obviously doesn't include gay people. Like, that doesn't make any sense. The fact that he just randomly, apparently, would talk shit about Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris, and all kinds of black women would come up in his speech all the time, or like black men were always prowling the streets to try to kill white men. I think that was something he said in the last week of his life. Like, this is not it's just ridiculous to say these things. And, like, again, didn't deserve to be shot, but just a piece of shit in life.
To take it a step further, one of the things I keep seeing, right, is the fight back theme, right? That when I'm seeing, I'm talking about as I grift through the MAGA groups, right? It's the fight back theme. But this is the weird part for me. All the violence and all the insinuations of violence are coming from the right side. When I'm seeing different posts inside these MAGA groups, like, let us go door to door, declare civil war, we'll cleanse, we'll do a righteous cleansing, right? That's coming from the right side. That's insinuating violence and death. When they're marching at Huntington Beach Pier, white man fight back, and then some of them are carrying arms. That's insinuating violence. It's illegal. I don't understand how the cops are allowing that. And they're not even naming who their threat is against, because they can't. It's an open-ended sentence. White men fight back. Against who?
Hello?
The African-American community has nothing to do with it. The left has nothing to do with it. Is this about to be more MAGA on MAGA? Because that's what the violence is right now. All right? So when you keep hearing this theme of being marginalized, and another thing I keep hearing them say is, we've had enough. It's time for us to take a stand. We're not going to accept it anymore. Accept what? We're not advocating for violence. We're not celebrating violence. We're adverse to violence, but you guys are pro-violence, and you're trying to justify it. There's nothing scarier than the wrath of the love of a Christian. They will give you a righteous death, a righteous, violent death, right? You don't hear the left side saying, we have to fight back, get our guns together, let's go shoot them, let's go be proactive because we know they're coming after. You don't hear that. You don't hear the violence. You don't hear the mob mentality. That is only coming from the right. So how can you fight back when nobody's fighting you?
I would say it's not just the right, because I've been on Blue Sky and seeing some of the things that are coming is actually pretty despicable. That's one. Two, we can actually go and take a look. There was just a study. There was just a study done where they asked both the left and the right if it's okay for killing President Trump, and guess who the left came back and scored, saying yes, it is justified for killing the president of the United States. This is not fair, right? And what most people don't talk about too
Is that research?
You can go,
is that actual
yes,
research?
yes, I'll post
Wow,
the survey.
that's super interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So again, and there was people, not anyone on the stage, and I gotta preference that because there was no one on the stage, but there were people on Clubhouse saying that he had ketchup on his ear when he got shot. Was laughing, joking about that. We were talking about the president last year, and then we can go back to 2016, where you were seeing Trump supporters get their ass whooped on every single rally that was happening. Coming out, you had a lady named Bevelyn Beatty who was stabbed by Black Lives Matter, right? You had people getting their ass beat in 2020. I mean, so again, we know the ADL numbers.
By Black
We know how they picked them.
What, like the movement got together and decided to stand?
She was in D.C. and she got Bevelyn Betty. I don't know if you know her, Bevelyn Beatty, whatever how you pronounce her name, who spent prison time, right? Who spent prison time for being at an abortion clinic. We're talking about cancel culture. She was stabbed as well. So let's not pretend that it's only one side. I'm not denying the fact that the right does have these violent KKK, neo-Nazis,
and killed her in Charlottesville.
but you have neo-fascists who are violent on the left.
Did the left
You have
kill somebody?
neo-cons.
Did the left kill somebody though?
Yeah, you can say you can say that when Antifa, who's been rioting for the last 2 months in Portland, right? You can say they're the cause of what happened in 2020. They popped it off after. You can say that the 20 or so people who have been killed.
You talking about J6, the Antifa?
No, J6 was one day. If you look at riots overall,
Okay.
if you look at burning, if you, I'm not finished. You guys gotta give me a chance to land. We just gotta be out, will you? No, I mean you guys get a chance to speak. I mean let someone else talk. So you have.
Omari, I just want you to think about this for a second. I'm gonna give the mic right to you. This is how it feels, except for people who are losing their jobs for trying to voice their opinion, right?
This is
you
wrong.
guys are pro that. You know, if you're saying you're against that, you're an outlier. Because when I'm in there, when I see people saying, "Well, he lost his life," fuck them if they lose their job. That's the general sentiment, right? And that will get thousands of likes and thousands of replies, and people sending screenshots of all the people that they actually were able to document and disrupt their lives, right? So when you see that, I want you to think about that. Everybody's fighting for a mic in here, but they don't want anybody to be able to express themselves unless it's Republican. Anytime a left or a Democrat or even an independent says anything that can be remotely construed as anti-Charlie, find them. And that's the sentiment right now. Let's dox them. Let's create the website, Charlie's Murderers. Let's dox them. Let's see if we can fuck their life up. That's what's happening.
And that's wrong.
So how can you advocate for freedom of speech while suppressing it at the same time?
So Jim,
I
so you
just
get
looked
back
up
to
this Beverly.
Let's go back to Omari because I took it from him and interrupted him. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I definitely
go after Malak.
And it's wrong, right? So and you can look at people like Megyn Kelly and others who, as soon as the Attorney General made that stupid ass statement, which is dumb, the dumbest statement ever you can make, and she should have been fired after the First Amendment. Many of us thought that was dumb. Many of us don't believe that. I think I heard Anthony earlier indicate that he doesn't believe that he should have been fired. I'm telling you, I don't think he should have been fired.
Are you trying to help these people not be fired? Or you just saying it to yourself?
Yeah, or do you want?
No, I think it's stupid. And I thought it was bad when I also heard that we were going against each other on this stage, where we're taking something that's happening in DC and then internalize it and going against each other, which we should not. It's not me versus Gemini, me versus anyone, even me versus culture. It doesn't matter. I'm not against you guys. I'm not here trying to cancel anyone.
It's the misinformation
I'm about to say, Omari, because I'm
but
just
freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
The thing is, though, Omari, right? When it comes to political violence, though, what I'm reading statistically is saying that even though, of course, they're saying that political violence in general has been on the rise since 2020. But it says the available research from I can post this in the chat. This is coming from MSNBC.com. It says the available research from recent years makes clear that right-wing violence has been more dangerous in the U.S. than left-wing violence. As the New York Times' David Leon explained in 2022, the American right has a violence problem that has no equivalent on the left. The New Republic noted in the response to Vance, just J.D. Vance, one study published by the Libertarian Institute found that since 2020, right-wingers have accounted for over half of terror-related deaths in the United States, with left-wingers at 22%. The New York Times also said this week examined the latest evidence pointing to the Nonpartisan Center for Strategic and International
Where did
Studies.
Mari go?
Oh, he left.
I'm here.
Sure.
Why to say I'm here?
Okay, my bad.
Okay. International Studies Global Terrorist Threat Assessment in 2024, which found most of the U.S. terrorist attacks in recent years were committed by violent far-right perpetrators, such as white supremacists, anti-government extremists, and violent misogynists. So that's what they're saying. The research says is that, yes, there's political violence on both sides, but it's still coming more from one side than the other.
Did you read who they killed? Did you read the actual people that were actually killed? So if someone had, let's say, a Nazi, symbol on their arm, and then they killed like maybe a loved one, a family member, they actually counted that as political violence. You look at the actual people that's being killed. There's no politicians.
It's okay to have a Nazi.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
So,
I went through the cases because I knew y'all was gonna do that. And see, this is the problem I have with you, because you're sitting up here lying. When I went any of the other day, you talking about, it's not me against you, but you sit up here and lie and said that I was making fun of his death, knowing I didn't. You sat up here and lied, trying to be funny. And see, this is what y'all do. Y'all want somebody to be civil with y'all, but y'all get mad when y'all getting ate up or somebody is fucking y'all up in a verbal combat, and then y'all want to make up shit like you did last night, knowing what they're saying the repercussions are. You did that, so I would never trust you, and I wouldn't tell anyone to trust you, because you lied. You sat up here.
But you
knowing
talking about my kid,
I'm not done
Aren't you talking about my kid?
You're right. When you lie on me, I'm going to talk about everybody.
Yeah, but
and it's always up for me and you.
So that's
I mean, that's it's
so
one
you're a
thing like
violent
that
person,
for you.
right? Yeah.
And here you go again, trying to do your white shit. I said it's always up with me and you. If I wanted to say anything violent, I would be. You can say whatever you want to say,
So,
bitch.
can I jump in?
But I'm not done. Yo, all that cutting off shit, I don't know why y'all be doing that, but that shit is corny. You sat up here and lied in a room, and you tried to frame it like somebody was doing it, trying to put people's livelihood in danger. That's lame, and that's fucking corny. So you're exactly right. I'm never gonna fuck with you, and that's the shit that you do. And they're gonna get in here and talk about, I don't agree with this. I agree with free speech. I agree. I just cited the Supreme Court cases that included hate speech and said that's included in free speech. But you sit up here and play with two people's livelihood because you did it to somebody else, and that's not funny. That's where you cross the line at. That's lame and that's corny, and I will always hate you, bitch.
I was there when it happened. I'm not gonna lie. Hold on for 1 second.
He admitted
Hold on for 1 second. I was there when it happened, and you absolutely accused Just of celebrating Charlie Kirk's death when that was not true. You did that, brother. You got to own it. I was there.
Okay, Jim, I said he was.
Hold on, one mic on Patty. What you say, Patty?
So I want to say something. When you try to say that the stats on political violence, there's actually a definition for it. And you know what's crazy about it? Like the Department of Defense, if you're in the military and you're an officer, we got to go to these things like the Naval Academy or Naval officers. They go to Naval War College. For us, we go to U.S. Army War College, or we go to National Defense University. When we go to these schools, they teach us about political violence. And I'm telling you that even with the people that we study, a lot of them, it has to do with, and this is within the last 20 years, right? Or from 2000. If we're talking about domestic political violence, a lot of it is coming from the right side. So.
Just to further,
Thank you, Patty.
I want to be real brief, but I've been researching the hell out of this because I really want to be accurate in my submission. When I started looking at the FBI and the DOJ, because Homeland Security assess what they call domestic terrorists, right? Which if Trump is really worried and concerned and send the National Guard to deal with all these urban threats, wouldn't you want to deal with the domestic terrorists that are terrorizing and causing violence and death throughout the United States, according to the FBI and DOJ? It says the FBI and Department of Homeland Security have repeatedly assessed that racially motivated violent extremists, particularly white supremacists and militia-type extremists, are the most persistent and lethal domestic threat to the U.S. The FBI Director, Christopher Wray, testified to Congress that the majority of domestic terrorism cases involve right-wing or white supremacist actors. The annual FBI hate crimes report shows steady increases in politically charged hate crimes, often linked to right-wing extremist ideologies. The National Institute of Justice, the DOJ, study in 2025, this year, found far-right extremists responsible for a much higher share of fatal attacks compared to far-left actors. Now, this is from the FBI and the DOJ. It is not coming from the left side. The stats and facts do not lie. Do the research.
Okay,
Can I
Omari, please.
Can I just get one? Because there's a
You
lot.
spoke about Bevelyn Beatty, and I want to respond to that piece. I've been waiting.
Okay, good. Then can I go after
Sure.
Malika, please?
It's not my call, but so the Bevelyn Beatty story, I just looked this up, and first of all, it's on the New York Post, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch and is a notorious propaganda wreck, but let's leave that to the side. So apparently in 2020, she claimed she was with some Proud Boys, and then they said they were stabbed, and they said that it was by Black Lives Matter DC activists. A DC spokesman, Lieutenant Ralph Neal, initially told local media that the suspects were members of Black Lives Matter, repeating what the Proud Boys had told them, which the DC branch group called a lie. The protest group tweeted they had nothing to do with these stabbings. Shame on Chief Police Peter Newsom and the DC police for sharing false information, the group said. The force, this is the police force now, the police force changed its account and told WUSA 9 that it could no longer confirm the suspects were affiliated to BLM, the station said. A press release from the police station later also stressed that officers, quote, cannot verify any specific affiliation of the suspects, end quote. So that's the story about Black Lives Matter stabbed somebody. It's not fucking true.
Okay, cool. Can I just go ahead and say something real quick? So
he lied?
So, okay, I didn't lie. It's an article, and it said that Black Lives Matter. So they came back later and then changed the story. Okay, cool. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Story.
So
it's straight, you jackass.
that's changing the story. They got it straight. There you go. Whatever how you want to word it.
And you repeated
With that being said,
But then you repeated that irresponsibly. Why don't you ever just tell them
because I don't believe it. I believe that.
So Omari, I swear we had made an
Jesus, Omari, you gotta
before you open your mouth,
bro.
Didn't we make an agreement earlier?
I'm sorry.
Didn't we make an agreement earlier before you open your mouth, you'll Google?
I know Bevelyn, and she still says that she is Black Lives Matter. She was talking shit. So.
We can't have a conversation without integrity and facts, man. Like it is. I don't want to have an opinion. I don't want to have an opinion versus opinion conversation. Let's stick to the facts.
So I'm
So you don't believe the police. So you don't believe the police.
and we had her on Clubhouse when she was doing her church.
That's the one time he believes it.
So we had her on Clubhouse and when we in one of the houses, and she said it was 100% Black Lives Matter because
But what did
she
the
was
police say?
she was trying to paint. Okay, I'm gonna go by what I believe the woman, right? I believe the young lady.
Oh, now you believe women.
Over law enforcement agency.
Over law enforcement agency that was accused of actually lying on data. But I don't want to get sidetracked.
Are you doing a bit right now?
So, anyways, let's talk about. You said political. If you look at the people, again, political violence. So look at the people who got killed, who are actually politicians.
Back you
There's
up,
an
bro.
actual
and the people-
definition on how they define what
Right.
is political violence.
Right. But we got so what happened to
It's not
Charlie
like
Kirk?
they just come up with names and say this is a political violence thing.
So if you look at the ADL, you look at the Cato Institute stats, and you look at who they claim that these white nationalists killed, their definition of political violence.
The Cato Institute is, bro.
If you look at what they claim as political violence, doesn't match, right? Because political violence is what happened to Charlie Kirk. Political violence is what was going to happen to Jeff Kavanaugh when they was going to shoot him. That's political violence. Violence is what happened to President Trump. Political violence is what happened to Trump. Is what happened to each rally.
happened to the senators in Minnesota who were killed in their beds with their
By
husbands.
someone who was appointed by a Democrat governor. Look at it.
Do you know that
You crazy. What difference does that make?
Be
You a
quiet.
dumb nigga.
we can
Everybody be quiet. No, I want to say this. I am a liberal Democrat.
Speak.
Everybody. No, hold on.
I was just saying, been waiting to speak for a while.
Thank you. I want to point. Well, he just said I was going to say something else, which I'll get to in a second. But he also said that he's talking about the Democratic governor appointed this guy, and if you know anything about that specific story, okay, this is not political appointees. So that fact check wouldn't matter to him because he just repeated that lie. And then part two, he couldn't even say who the fucking Cato Institute is. He thinks it's some lefty tanky fucking think tank. He doesn't understand. Do you know who it is?
I know who Cato is. I brought it up. I've seen all the stats that's been posted from the.
Do you know who the Cato Institute is?
It doesn't matter. I'm disputing their. I'm disputing their numbers, and I just gave you like Steve Scalise, who a leftist tried to kill an entire Republican Party.
Numbers. You can
So there you go. You have the numbers too.
You can cherry pick the 20%, and you're still going to be wrong. Because
I'm going to pick the politicians
we
almost
have
got
much
killed.
more. No, you're going to cherry pick to create this narrative that it's the left. You're going to keep interrupting me or what?
There you go.
You're going to keep interrupting me? No,
Scotty,
you're
go
going to
ahead.
cherry pick the 20. Thank you. So he's been caught in multiple lies. He won't stand on business, on the truth, even when presented to him. He doesn't know who the fuck the Cato Institute is. He may know who the ADL is, but he doesn't trust their numbers either. The Cato Institute is not fucking left. It is a libertarian freedom party that typically sides with the Republicans and the right. So you don't believe them either. So you're going to wait until there's an organization where you can believe their stats and then you're going to run behind them? That is fucking phony and it lacks integrity. And you should do a little bit better on these stages.
Scotty, this is what we're going to do right here, right? We're going to define political violence so there's no way to use a workaround saying I'm just going to show when politicians are harmed. Because that is not what political violence is. Political violence is defined as the use of physical force by individuals or groups to achieve political goals or express political grievances, right? That has nothing to do with if a politician was killed or not. If you're using that as your measuring stick, it shows that you don't even understand the basis of the argument. So you can't even enter the argument because you don't understand it. There are key element. Hold on 1 second. There are key elements for political violence. It has to be politically motivated. Has to have the use of threat or violence, and the actors involved have to have state actors, governments, police, military, non-state actors, terrorist groups, militias, protesters, or revolutionaries. Right. So you have to be able to define it. What you're trying to say is, I'm going to find when politicians are killed. It's far broader than that. You don't even understand what you're trying to define or what you're trying to find stats for. Are you?
This is an easy combo, man. So check this out real quick. So it's when you go to other countries and continents and shit, you see that they don't have as many guns. They don't have as many murders and violence and all that other shit. In the U.S., we got all type of shit going on every day. The people with the most guns are the Republicans. The people that's supporting the 2A, the fucking gun owners. Like, I mean, it's simple. It's not even close on either side. The people that's teaching their kids how to shoot in the backyard. Them the motherfuckers that commit the most violence. The ones that with granddad and them. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. The ones with the Confederate flags in the back of their trucks and shit. Those are the ones committing the political violence and all the other violence and snipers and shit. Anybody knowing how to snipe at 19? Unless you serve, he ain't even served. He just know how to shoot. A lot of them know how to shoot. We know how to play dominoes and shit. We be playing basketball and shooting free throws. They be shooting in the backyard. Shit crazy. Go ahead.
Well, you guys don't even look to see what these studies show. They don't even look at if they actually voted. That's why I know your stats are super ass. The ass, plain ass.
What the
stinky
fuck
ass.
vote got to do with
they don't even know. So, for example, they don't even use, like, let's say someone in the hood kills 400 people in 1 year. That's not including some political violence. But if a white person with a swastika on his neck kills someone, regardless, it could have been over meth, right? That is actually counted in their political violence.
That is not true. So that's not true.
You can look.
That's not true.
That's
not true. I literally just read you.
Okay, hold on.
I literally just read you the stats and facts that they use to define. Listen, it has to be politically motivated, right? Or a political grievance. It can't be just because you have a swastika and you wouldn't kill some people. That is not the measuring stick
right now. We can do victim for victim.
You can't because you don't even know how to define a political violence victim.
Okay, you already defined it for everybody. So why don't you start bringing up the victims that have been killed and name them, and then actually put the political.
No, why don't you?
Why don't you tie it like it's the constellation? Let's tie them together for the people in the audience.
As soon as I'm done driving, I'll be happy to oblige you. It won't be long.
Let's do that. Because I think that will relieve some of the stress on people if we can start connecting.
You don't know what you got even right now.
I don't wish anything. I'm looking for just a conversation. I'm just going to say
before Scalise. Do you know who got shot before Scalise did? Do you know who was shot before Scalise?
No, I don't. See, I
know you don't.
So who was shot before
Mark Kelly's wife's name, y'all?
Yeah.
You dumbass.
Yeah.
What happened to her first, dumbass?
Okay. Oh, you talking about
you talking about you knew about Steve Scalise though. You knew about him, but it happened to her first, dummy. So when you come out talking about people, bringing them up one at a time, why don't you do more than just bring up why don't you do more research, boy? And shut your mouth and listen. Learn something.
Boy.
That's what I said. Ooh. Nigga, boy.
Nigga, boy.
That's just what you said.
When this man was assassinated, the first thing out of y'all's mouth, who is that? Who is that? Shut up.
I shot him. Go ahead.
The first thing out of y'all's mouth was it was from the left. Somebody on the left did it. That's dumb. They didn't even have a suspect, and it was from the left. Then they get a suspect, and it's still from the left before the man opened his mouth. Before they have any information, it happened on the left. That's why y'all are not credible. You have no credibility. It's hard to take you seriously because you can't even admit that it happens on both sides.
It happens on both
Y'all
sides.
can't
I
even
just
say
did it.
that.
You happy?
I'm still talking though. It happens on both sides. And so there's not even a place, we can't even have a starting point for a real debate because y'all can't tell the truth at the beginning of it that it happens on both sides. We can't never get to how much which side it happens on more because we can't even agree that it happens on both sides. Do you know how dumb y'all sound to keep repeating that when everybody knows, including y'all, when you open your mouth a goddamn lie, that it happens? When you say you lying. That's what gets me. I can't understand. Y'all know y'all lying.
That's fair.
Because it just happened in Minnesota. Now, just because Donald Trump want to pretend he didn't know who it was, when he was probably the second person that knew who it was before they put it out on the media, because they called the president and told him. Somebody did, because that's how it works. But then he gets to get in the open and pretend he don't even know who it is. Something is wrong with y'all.
You get briefed every morning.
Exactly. Something is terribly wrong with y'all. Because we know why he's doing what he's doing. It's you dummies. We trying to figure out what do you have to gain? What do you stand to gain from continuing to promote this bullshit?
That's a great question.
Just like Nancy, what's the Representative Nancy Mace that got into it with the reporter when this first happened? Like it was like
CNN, I saw it.
And she was saying that she was talking about the left and this and she's done and all this other mess and that reporter called her ass out quickly and said there's political violence on both sides. And I think that you hit the nail on the head, Miss Deborah, when you said that be the issue in these conversations. Most of the time is that we can't even have a real conversation without it being like, oh, it's always the left, because you think that something happened to somebody that you consider on the right. Now, if the conversation is shifted to it's only the left, when we see the stats are showing that the political violence for the majority has come from the right. And so even in this situation, once again, this conversation still deflects from the fact that this shooter is one of your own. Just like with Jimmy Kimmel, you don't want to address the fact that he said that's your main problem. You have to address the fact that it's one of your own. And white people are just not ready to contend with that, obviously. It's showing. It's showing that they're not really ready to contend with the fact that y'all killing each other off.
Right. And they're going to browbeat us or anybody who is not, mourning that man's death. We didn't do it. No, do it. So why y'all mad at us?
I agree with you, Dave.
But I heard that. I had an interview too, and that reporter gave Nancy Mace a chance to. Would you like to speak to it? And can you at least admit that? And that what you're saying right now is not helping the situation because you steady, blaming the other side when both sides do it. And she wouldn't even she doubled down on it's the left. And it's crazy. It makes no sense.
And you know what else?
Miss Lisa, could you play the clip that I sent you, please?
Can I talk, please?
I have to get somebody else to play the clip. Let me know when I can get it.
Yeah, I wonder why nobody ever talks about Officer David Rose. That person was a victim of political violence. Do we remember that? Or is that too long ago? Because that was back fucking last month. And he was killed by somebody who shot up the CDC. But nobody wants to talk about that political violence.
Mm-hmm.
Was that from the left? Was it? Also, you know what else part of the problem that nobody's going to admit on the right? We all know who Dylan Roof was, right? Surely we all do.
You mean the one that's killed 9 people in church?
Sure, we all know that. But you know who doesn't know who Dylan Roof is? Kash Patel at the hearing today. Are we going to hold any smoke for him?
No.
On the right?
I did.
They won't.
I did. And I held smoke for Linda McMahon, who didn't even understand, anything about education. So.
But Amari, you're one of one. You're one of one, babe.
Also, can we talk about the fact that, like, when Melissa Hortman got murdered, there was a lot of silence on the Republican side. A lot of silence. A lot of people who didn't talk about it, who didn't decry political violence or anything like that. The situation with Charlie Kirk getting killed, despite him being someone who, let's just say, the entire Democratic Party disagreed with vehemently. Every single statement was decrying political violence, that he should have been murdered. The reaction, the move towards violence, is on one side of the aisle. It just is. There's only one side of the aisle that pardoned, what was it, hundreds of people, including people who were on camera beating the shit out of cops on January 6th, which was absolutely an act of political violence. Like, that was one side. How many Republicans have said it was a miscarriage of justice that Donald Trump pardoned violent criminals who were beating up cops? I don't think I've heard of any. And a lot of them were the people who were saying, well, he's not talking about pardoning all of the J6ers. He's only talking about the non-violent ones. And then when the violent ones got pardoned, they didn't have shit to say. And this has been I don't stop. I haven't talked that much. We're good. So the idea that there's some kind of equivalence on each side is just not borne out by the facts. And probably more importantly, there is a role that leaders have when they choose to be leader. And that's to diffuse violence and to call on our better angels, as they say, right? There are very few who are doing that. Very, very few. There has been a rush to use this for whatever political momentum, political advantage that they possibly can find, to do things that are completely unrelated, that have nothing to do with anything. They're collectivizing responsibility for the murder of Charlie Kirk when it was one crazy ass dude out of St. George who we still don't totally understand and may never. This is what the right has chosen to do. The left has not chosen to do that. When Steve Scalise got shot, it was a widespread condemnation, both sides of the aisle. And so we just need to remember, not just what have people done in the past, but also what are they setting up for the future. And Donald Trump has been the most irresponsible president I can possibly imagine in the wake of the Charlie Kirk shooting. I'm done.
May I speak? I'm gonna go back down after I speak.
I think April was before you.
Okay.
At least I was just agreeing with Aaron. Those January 6ers that have been released, pardoned, whatever you call it, have gone out and committed more violent crime and got arrested again, which is just is amazing, and it's crazy all at the same time. When you can't sit and call what's going on, you can't tell the truth of it. You say, oh, January 6th, that was just one day. My God. Had any Democrat or left-leaning person tried to stop the peaceful transfer of power just one day, as he calls it, just one fucking day. See, this is why we can never get to a point where we're all together, because one person can just call that was just one day that they did that. They set up a gallows out there. That's just one day. Y'all, come on. It was one day.
But April, how easy is it to just admit it happens on both sides? Like, it don't get any easier than that. Put the onus on both sides. They can't even do that. How can you start a real conversation when we can't agree on a basic fact?
Because Donald Trump is a liar, and he figures if he can tell us 100 times over that it was the left, then we're gonna believe him. That's what
they don't believe that shit. They just believe sticking. They don't believe it. They just stick together.
The thing is, though, is even if it comes out, right, that he's like...
Brooklyn was in the queue. Oh, go ahead, Your Honor. Finish your thought.
Let me just say this briefly. Even if it turns out that the shooter was, on the left, they are still a single person. That's it. There was, I am not responsible for that person's actions, regardless. Just as someone on the right wouldn't be responsible if it turns out that he or whatever else there's been, rumors of. It's still one person who's responsible for their own actions. This is a conspiracy of multitudes of people, as far as we can tell.
That's it right there.
I
Amen.
can agree with that, but I will have to still extend that, you know, we still can't negate influences, right? So I do agree that, yes, the onus of one person's action shouldn't be put on one set party or community, but at the same time, we can still point towards influences of that said person and say that they were influenced by certain communities. We can definitely do that.
I agree with that. I mean, especially if they're fomenting violence like the president is right now.
Right, exactly.
So the message are we are brothers keepers in every situation there's now.
Did you guys not hear me that Brooklyn was after your honor? Brooklyn, where you at? What you doing downstairs? Brooklyn? You know, why is Brooklyn in the good?
Come on, Brooklyn, come back up. I like when Brooklyn talks.
I invited her. Get up here, Brooklyn.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm
Let's
playing
go,
Club,
bro.
and I don't feel like being overly modded and getting kicked in the audience thanks to Gemini lame ass. But anyway, oops, let me go look in the replay. I just wanted to say that.
She lied.
You didn't want the audience.
Should have been
Or whatever.
about 10 fucking times, and I kicked you. If I kicked you, I would say that's my
You
footprint on your back. I didn't do it.
You kicked me when that white bitch was talking.
No, I didn't. That's on my daughter. You're wrong.
What's
You owe me an apology. I did not do that shit.
I don't owe anybody an
Yeah, the fuck you do, because you blame me for some shit I ain't do.
Anyway, like I was saying, so since I was in the audience, I decided to go on the Tickety Talk and go down a little rabbit hole and then, you know, Google some stuff too. And come to find out, it was first of all, nobody is addressing the fact that this Ben Carr man is a Trump appointee. Okay, so the FCC has been infiltrated, and it's the FCC section of Project 2025, guys. They spoke this shit into existence. It was people back in November 24 that was talking about this Ben Carr guy that's the head of the FCC and how he is, you know, the plans that they have to basically take over and censor television and kind of shift it to their own liking. And if this isn't an example of the shit that they were talking about, I don't know what the fuck is. Do you hear me? Like, it was, this shit was already written, y'all. It was written. They said this was going to happen. So for all of those who do not believe that the internet, I'm going to tell you how to start believing the internet, because the motherfuckers be on point. You better believe the internet. They said that they was going to infiltrate the FCC and do things such as what they did to Jimmy Kimmel. And whoever else says anything out of pocket, they are in control. It's in Project 2025, guys. Okay? Thank you.
Project 25 is real.
Thanks for bringing that up. I remember hearing that before. So thank you for bringing that up. But,
all right. Can I get in the queue now?
Well, it's your room, I guess. Yes, Lisa.
I know when to be quiet. All right, so this is what we're gonna do here.
Just a minute.
Who is
it?
It better be y'all.
It's Domino's.
Okay,
Oh my God, DoorDash. You better check them.
He is DoorDash.
Cash.
You guys are funny as hell.
Be safe, bro.
Okay, so welcome to the 420, guys. I've enjoyed this, the part that I've actually got a chance to listen to. You guys have been well behaved and done all the right things and, you know, let everybody speak. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to give you guys another program. What the hell is this? Another thing kind of like went to a different thing. It's not even, we didn't even get to the title, actually, but we are going to get to the title. I'm just going to give you guys, why do I always have an echo?
I'm going to give you guys the breaking news here, and then we'll move on to the title. If you guys are good, if we can stay on this, if you want to, but we can also find out what happened with the police shooting, and I think it's still 3 people dead. So, let's see. What I want to say.
And I did have a little fun fact I wanted to throw at y'all, if you're open to it. It's kind of useless information, but it's kind of, at the same time, interesting, kind of ironic.
Hold on, Lisa, are you done?
I haven't even
Well, I thought she was about to break the headline. So
okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It was just, I just found, like I said, this is useless information, but Charlie Kirk and George Floyd have the same birthday.
October 14th?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
have mercy. That is crazy. That's a damn shame.
That was pretty useful information.
I mean, I don't know what we're going to do with that information. I just thought it was interesting.
That's very
kind of ironic.
Yeah, useful is the wrong word, but that's definitely a fun fact.
Well, thank you for that.
Wait, I missed it. Say it one more time.
You said to repeat it one more time?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed it.
No, you good. I was just saying George Floyd and Charlie Kirk have the same birthday.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
That must be why I keep seeing these memes of like I seen a meme the other day of like the floodgates of heaven, and it was like George Floyd and Charlie Kirk with wings, and they were shaking hands. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna finish talking and saying what we gotta say. We're gonna let Lisa finish. Nobody else come off the mic until Lisa finish. Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Alex. Okay, so here we go. But breaking news today, we already know about Jimmy Kimmel, and next, Trump has been barred from the UK conference after the clash that he had with that Australian journalist. Remember that? When the journalist was asking a question, and he goes, well, maybe we should investigate you. Did y'all hear that? Remember that? I have to play it because y'all didn't know it or didn't remember it. Well, now he's been barred. He's over in the UK right now, and the network has barred him from the press conference after that particular clash. So people not over there, they're doing the real work. They're the ones who had the picture, his mugshot. They were projecting it onto the Windsor Castle before he got there. And then Kinko's had I don't know where they got this from. The picture of him and Epstein was as large or as long as a football field. I don't know how that was gangster. And then they had on a news station, they did I'm rounding up to 3,000 lies he's been told since he has been in office this term. They had it on the news station to tell all the lies that he's told, and plus they fact checked him, and it literally stayed on for 24 hours straight. Hold on. Now, the Federal Reserve is going to cut the U.S. interest rates for the first time since December. That's going to happen.
It just happened.
Oh, it already happened?
It already happened. Yeah, today.
Okay. Let's see. One more, you guys. The family of the black student found hanging from a tree on the campus has hired Ben Crump. Trump says he plans to designate Antifa as a major terrorist organization. And then we're going to talk about the 3 officers fatally shot and 2 injured in Pennsylvania. Unless that's changed since we started this room, I think that's correct. Is it correct still, you guys? Or do you know? No one knows?
It's so far. Antifa like a faceless organization. Like it's not even an organization. It's just an ideology. It's not even an organization.
Yeah, and Antifa doesn't have a headquarters. It doesn't have a leader.
It doesn't even really exist. That's what I'm saying.
They're punching at the air.
So are they gonna do like
made that communist, they just put the communist mark on people and started arresting people? Is that what's going to happen?
That's probably right. But, you know, when Joe McCarthy did his...
Wait. One more thing so y'all can go run. I'm going to go back on mute.
Go.
And one last thing. The U.S. Justice Department removed study finding far-right extremists commit far more violence. Same thing you guys just we're talking about. They're going to remove that study. All right?
Wait.
So they are...
Lisa, why would you remove a study, you know, if it favors your side? Oh, wait a second.
Okay. The Justice Department removed study finding far-right extremists commit far more violence. It's going to vanish from the DOJ website. They are rewriting history in your face.
You know what, Lisa? I think they already scrubbed it because literally when I was having this conversation in another room just a few days ago, I pulled that link. And when Omari was talking, I tried to pull that link again tonight, and it is gone.
I see what
and that was a .gov link, so you're right. They did scrub it.
You think I'll be over here just moisturizing and hydrating, don't you? I be looking up everything. I look at every time you guys have a subject and I don't know, I go and I look it up, and that's what's going on, you guys. So I have to jump in and do it before it gets too late.
Lisa, isn't
this is a total infringement on freedom of speech?
Isn't it poetic, Lisa, that the country that we fought and so many people died for our own revolution against the United Kingdom, they are now fighting harder for our freedoms than the Republican Party is in our own country. I think that's very poetic.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So I just have that, and you guys can proceed on with the debate or the discussion, or we can pivot. I know somebody was just saying something before I said, "Give me a moment." I think it was you, Scotty, right?
When you finish, I wanted to say something really short, Lisa. The other boy in Mississippi was mixed.
Oh, like mixed how?
Black and white.
Oh, so he was. Oh, okay.
Both of them was
so
black.
He was black.
Yeah.
So that's two. That makes two black men hung, and both were in Mississippi, right?
Right, and you know, there's a group with two guys that came out with a song today that they are allowing to be played on the radio, and the title is "Hang 'Em High at Sundown."
Oh, come on, Alexander, for real?
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Somebody put that in the chat earlier, and I forgot to go get it. Who was that? Was it King?
I don't know.
Earlier today, she was talking about a song, but hers was a rap song. Are you talking rap, Alexander?
He's talking, you know. Actually, if you want to call that rap.
It was a black group. Is it yours a black?
No, this is a white group.
Okay, I think this one was a black group, and they were rapping.
Okay. Lisa, I have a clip to play also.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Scott.
It's really short. This is just the congressional hearing with our dear friend Kash Patel, which, by the way, you know, was a podcaster, as is his associate running the place, appointed by Trump. So I just want to play this little clip here.
9 black
Sorry.
Dylan Roof, who followed white supremacist propaganda, murdered 9 black parishioners in Charleston in 2015. Do you deny this?
I'm sorry. Dylan Roof?
Roof?
Roof? Can you give me some more information?
You're head of the FBI. You probably know this. If you don't know, that's fine.
Okay. You can give me a reminder. I've got a lot in front of me.
It was national news.
That's all. That's the government.
Jesus Christ.
And he knows.
That's who's running shit. That's who's running this shit.
He thought it was cute to pretend he don't know, because he damn sure knows.
What if he really doesn't know?
If he really doesn't know, it's worse.
Yeah, it sounds like he dead ass didn't know. I ain't gonna hold you.
Well, first of all,
if he doesn't know, then he's even
If he
worse.
doesn't know, not even worse. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it sounds like he didn't know, which that is terrifying.
Just remember that he was a lawyer, so for him to not know that would disqualify him.
Wait, that was Taj Patel speaking, right?
Yeah.
He was a lawyer?
Remember his interview in the Senate when he had to answer to the Senate?
Is he incompetent or a liar?
He is totally incompetent. Are you fucking kidding me?
And then she threw him a bone, and he talking about, can you give me a refresher? She said,
He knows.
the parishioner.
He sounds just as close as that dude that was running FEMA during the Bush administration. What was his name? And he was like, "You're doing a fine job during Hurricane Katrina," and was doing a horrible job. What was that guy's name, y'all?
Michael Brown. Mike Brown.
Yes, Michael Brown.
That was a job, Brownie.
I just want to say that Crocodile Patel is a disgrace.
Well, did you guys see that clip? Did you guys see that clip where was the secretary, the education secretary, McMahon? She didn't know who Ruby Bridges was.
Oh wow!
Who didn't know?
Believe it or not, there's a lot of people who don't.
Who didn't know?
Not McMahon. I forgot her. What's her?
Linda.
Linda McMahon. I want to say Stephanie all the time.
Linda McMahon.
Vance.
Yeah.
She didn't know who Ruby Bridges was. That was the most embarrassing thing I've ever.
Well, Donald Trump probably don't know either.
Honey, she's white. Why? I mean,
Donald Trump don't know who
Ruby Bridges is important. Like that's his.
She is. I agree.
Donald Trump. I guarantee you, he don't know for real.
But there are people that don't know because that's never been part of their teaching. That there's never been that. I'm serious.
And thanks to Donald
I
Trump,
believe you.
anyone who goes to the Smithsonian won't need to know that either.
But can I say something real quick?
Ramona and April.
Hi, baby. We're what? Ramona or April, what did we do?
Go, you're in the queue. Go.
Oh, shit. I was like, did I do something wrong? I wanted to say something because I've been listening to this shit for a couple hours now. And out of anybody in this nation that should understand political violence more than anyone else, it should be the Black community. And the fact that there are people here that don't understand that everything that's ever been done, every body that's been hung, every cross that's been burnt, every body that's been buried or left in the ditch was political violence. And that's what the Civil War was fought over. And even if somebody did it because they thought it was their divine right as some fucking whatever, it was still political violence because it was their political view that also led them to believe that that was the right thing to do. And so if anybody needs to know what political violence or should know what political violence is, it would be the Black community. And that's what I mean by gaps and lacking in education as far as what is real. Like Miss Ruby. So that's how I feel about it. And I may be wrong and I might be out my lane, but that's something that everybody should know and think about and digest and understand, because it's coming again if we let it. And I don't think people are understanding the clarity of that and understand it really can happen. It may not happen the same, but it will happen. And it's not just going to be the Black community.
Well, it's happening the way that they predicted, Ramona.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And it's the young Black men and young Black women, the young folk who don't understand what you're saying, Ramona. Because you know what? It's one thing for you not to agree with the left. You ain't gotta agree with the Democrats. for whatever your reason is. But open your eyes and understand the bigger picture and see what's happening to America and pay attention to how people of color are being treated. And, that part. And stop participating by agreeing and not being able to see the other side of what your political belief might be. Look at the country. Look at the things that are happening and how people are being treated. And understand you could be next. That's all.
Good point. Is Gemini there? I want to ask him a question.
Those farmers honestly thought that Black people were going to sign up to take those jobs on those farms for $11 an hour. And they were literally pissed off that none of the Black people were coming to take those freaking jobs. And now they're ass out. They had to plow over their fields again, and they've lost everything. And I mean, I watched video after video of these white farmers going, well, we raised the pay to $11 an hour. How come none of the Black people are putting in for these jobs? They are serious. It wasn't no way in hell they was going to do that shit. So, whatever. Miss me with that shit.
So, they're Gemini, so
I know what we'll get our niggers back.
Gemini.
Racism only exists if you are being specifically called to some of these people.
So
that's a fact, right? What you want to ask me, Omar?
So the other day you made a statement. You saying that some of why people might be emotional about certain things is because of their livelihood. And I pondered on it for a couple of days, and I have to say I disagree because
you gotta give me context because that's so many conversations.
Yeah, I think it was a conversation about like why people get so angry at me with the things I say because they feel threatened their lives, their livelihood and stuff like that. Do you remember that? And if you don't, that's fine.
Michael, go ahead.
So this year,
yeah, right. That's that part. So if people really were truly scared, as they say they are, they would be hiding, right? They wouldn't be on these apps. They wouldn't be living life, because sometimes I hear people, do the whole Chicken Little, the sky's falling thing. And then when I hear another conversation like, man, y'all popping bottles, things are going great. Y'all breaking bread, money's great. Everything is all, not Gucci, but y'all like basically Prada, right? So which one is it? Are y'all living a life of fear or y'all living the good life? In my Kanye voice.
Okay, can I respond to that? But you asked me a question, let me respond to it directly, then I hand it right to you. I'll tell you this much. There are both ends of the spectrum, right? There are some people that are stressed out and struggling. And that goes across the board because the economy is not very good right now. The job market is not doing very well right now. So, of course, people are feeling the impact of that. Also, we already know that prices are going up. So, people are feeling the impact of that. And there are people that have found their niche, found their market, found their way, found their career, found their lane, found their entrepreneurial spirit, however it might construe itself. And they're doing okay. But that doesn't mean that they're still not going to be feeling the pressure of what's happening overall in society. They're not feeling the heightened awareness of racial tension. They're not seeing the political tension and political violence and the potential for it to go even further. They're not seeing the agenda of the current administration. So there's not yes or no to that. That goes across the board.
Okay.
So people are genuinely trying their best to fight those who want to fight. And the reason why is because, I don't know if you know, but there is such a thing as being suppressed to the point where you're just silenced. You do know that that's a thing that happens, right? Like people are suppressed to the point where they're silenced, meaning you scare them with doxing, potentially getting them fired from a very needed job, right? And at the end of the day, that's completely unfair. So, but there are people who's like, fuck it, man. I'm just gonna go all in. Okay, I will be, silenced, just so the person who's scaring me to death with things like doxing could just win, not because they made a good argument, but because they hung something over my head that is just threatening. So people are just like fed up. Like they're taking it. I know I'm taking it. Please, people could probably dox me all day long, right? I mean, it is what it is at this point, right? Am I afraid? Not really afraid. I think that it's, I'm just taking it. It's pretty dangerous. But I'm not going to be silenced. Period. Because if you're not right, then I'm not going to just let you run over me. And there are plenty of people, and I've spoken to them, who are just like, have the same sentiment as I do. We're not going to let people just run over us. No. Okay? Even though the things that you stated, right, could possibly happen. And the fact that you even brought up that in the question is kind of interesting.
The fact of the matter is, people are getting ran over and they ain't doing shit about it. Let's just be honest, because ain't nobody doing that. Like, yeah, but before our very eyes, all our rights is being stripped away, and all niggas is doing is like, oh, well, it's me. Oh, well, I'm going to leave, or I'm just going to sit here in the house. I can't lose my job. Even though you still might lose your job anyway, it's like everybody is super scared. And I don't blame nobody for being super scared, but I don't see nobody fighting back, to be honest with you. They just complying. Like, even the people that got doxxed and fucking got fired, they kind of dialing back the things that they're saying as well. They like, well, I really wasn't trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit really got people frightened. And I don't think this is not fair at all. By no means is this even, like, this is crazy as fuck. But it's happening, and I don't see nobody. Like, I'm literally going through social media as we speak. And I'm just watching the news, too. Ain't nobody like pushing back. This Jimmy Kimmel shit is crazy. This Jimmy Kimmel shit is crazy. But you know,
Brooklyn, wouldn't you agree that this has been happening to women and gay or?
Oh yeah, that's why I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
What I'm shocked about is that men aren't pushing back at this. Like the men folks do we have any male allies? Because I'm shocked that there isn't a man on either side, liberal or conservative, that's like, yeah, this is going too far.
Well, I think it just happened, though. I don't think it's going to go.
I hope so.
I mean, it just happened. So
I'm keeping my ears open, Deborah, because if ain't nobody saying nothing about this.
It's got to be. But, I mean, we know this administration will push all the, they'll go to the hilt because that could just give them time to fuck up shit, and they know they're gonna end up in court. That's the whole purpose, is to tear it up. That's
what the FCC. Can the FCC be sued? Something got to happen. This ain't.
Something has to happen.
This right here, this is going too far. I ain't never in my life thought that this type of shit was really gonna happen.
It's the flip-flopping too, because when Pam Bondi came out and said we will go after anybody who says any hate speech, they literally had to reel it back because they are the main ones that be doing hate speech. And they was like, Pam, you going too far now. They had to play her a clip of Charlie Kirk talking about, freedom of speech. And so she was like, yeah, well, we're talking about, she cleaned it up with saying, I'm talking specifically about hate speech that results in violence or, is planning violence, et cetera, right? Mm-hmm. Fast forward the very next day, the ABC talking about ABC needs to figure something out with Kimmel. There's an easy way and a hard way to do this. This is what the guy from the FCC said on a podcast.
and that's what cued everything. The fact that the FCC person
on
can be talking
TMZ
shit on a can be talking shit on a podcast, and then that translates into people actually making actions and moving because they taking it as a real threat is really crazy. We about to turn into communist China.
And the fact is that podcast clear without showing a conflict of interest, and they're not even addressing that conflict of interest is crazy too, Kia.
Right.
Did you guys hear about the
systematically messing with the airways anyway? Because that's why they went after the NPR and all of that. So
what the fuck is Congressman?
So Brooklyn, did you hear about?
Crazy.
Did you hear about the Biden
I don't want to
administration?
hear nothing else.
Did you hear about they had
I don't care.
Operation
Don't talk
Arctic
to
Frost?
me about the
Arctic
bitch you
Frost?
love.
No, did you hear about? That's a question. Have you heard about Arctic Frost?
No.
Anybody in the state heard about Arctic Frost?
Obviously not. But is it in comparison to
Arctic Frost? Yes.
Well, put something in the chat.
I got you. Arctic Frost, y'all. That's crazy. It should upset everybody on the stage. We'll see.
Yeah, post it. Why are you even bringing it up if you're not going to explain it? What the fuck?
I'm trying to explain. You can cut me off.
Because you already because every time you bring a story, you bring it in a slant.
Right, you being Omari, you are a black man. That president is black. Stupid. You get on my nerves so bad because you can't even hide. Unless you fucking start bleaching your skin today, you cannot hide your blackness. I don't give a fuck how much like Urkel you sound.
You took your blackness
The
away.
fuck is you talking about?
Whenever you start going against your own kind, you take your
This
blackness
shit is
away, right?
nigga, you and even if you're not just like, hold
Yeah, I
on,
hear you, Sandra. What's
hold
up?
on, Sandra. Hold on. Even if you just not.
Can I talk to you for a second?
Real quick, Sandra, let me just finish what I was saying.
For 5 minutes, Sandra.
Okay, well, go ahead. Just y'all go.
What's up, Sandra?
She was cooking.
What'd you say?
She done stop now, Sandra. Go ahead.
Can I get a word in?
Sandra, you there?
I'm just feeling really conflicted right now because of this situation. And my dumb ass raised my sons. My sons never even had fucking water guns. They are 34 and 35, never had a real gun in their lives. Their father was a fucking gun fanatic. He almost killed me one time while he was cleaning one of his fucking guns. He had fucking guns in his gun safe, big enough to kill a fucking elephant. So I never let my sons play with guns. And now I am conflicted. I decided to go and get my license, but now I'm worried about my sons because once I divorced their fucking stupid ass gun-toting father, they have never been around him. So I'm freaking the fuck out, Gemini, because this shit is fucked up. These hunkies are tripping. I'm so glad I don't have to get up and go to work no more. I don't have to drive. I don't have to go nowhere I don't want to be. Only white people I have to be around are the ones that I love, and I do love many. But those are the only white people I have to be around. But I'm trying to figure out what I need to do for my sons.
I would tell them
we got to be around Amari and Manfinity on this out, but besides that,
man, why y'all put me in this? Come on now.
I was about to say
That's
this
crazy.
like trying to learn at a late age in your 30s, like do they have a passion for it at all? Is it something that they're interested in on their own accord, or is it something that you want to suggest to them? Have they expressed any interest
I
in
just
it?
want them to be able to protect themselves.
The reason why I'm asking is like guns, like you don't want to somebody like me and my guns are one. They're an extension of my body, every single one. You know what I mean? Like I know exactly what I would use.
So you did that when you were in your teens?
My dad had me.
Or your teens?
Yeah, my dad had me from. I don't even remember how young I was when he started. I don't. Like.
Oh well, I divorced the damn daddy because he liked white girls and he had like he's on wife number 6 now. So.
Oh shit. He is serial, but no. One thing I will say, and this is not gonna sound good, but it's accurate. If you're not really prepared, you actually increase the chances of you dying. I've had 2 die by their own gun. 2. Right? Mm-hmm. pull it and you hesitate, right? If you have that there's a moment of truth, right? And when that moment of truth comes, a lot of people that think they would shoot don't. But you just up the whole level to a life and death situation. You escalated it when you introduce that weapon, because that's a life or death weapon. You're not supposed to shoot to injure, right? And I get a lot of flack for that, but I'm not shooting to injure. I want to down a lethal threat, right? So I'm going to squeeze multiple times, center mass, every time. That's just me. If my finger enters the trigger guard, I'm definitely squeezing 3 times, minimum, right? So
okay, I was gonna say to Brooklyn, Brooklyn, you're 100% right. Because I didn't see this type of thing happening when Martin Luther King died. They were mocking his death, and I didn't see anybody getting fired from their job then. You know, this is it. I don't know what this is that we got to be so suppressed that we can't even say this man's name. This is terrible.
So I wasn't finished.
100% right. No, but I let Sandra go. I told Sandra to go before me. I was after Sandra.
Right, but I should be able to give a full response, which I'm going to do respectfully. I was about to land anyway. Sandra, what I was about to finish saying was this. I would tell them to get something. If they have any interest in weapons, I would tell them to pursue it. If not, at least have them get bear spray. At least have them get a stun baton. At least have them get a Ring doorbell or cameras on their home. You know what I mean? At least have them do the minimum as far as defense goes. At least advocate for that.
It was mentioned about the interview. It was mentioned about an interview with TMZ and Pam Bondi. And the first thing that came to my mind is like, wait, Harvey Levine, he's a lawyer. She's a lawyer, I guess. What was his response on what she said?
Did you guys cut off Alexander?
No.
Alexander, were you speaking at all?
I was trying to get into it for a long time, a couple of hours now.
Wow. No, hold on. No. I'm in the, sorry, you guys. The phone is on the computer stand, and I'm over here on the other side. Can you guys, I haven't had Alexander speak. Aleph said he's been waiting for 2 hours.
That part is not true. I've heard Aleph in the last 30 minutes at least.
No, you haven't.
He ain't waiting no 2 hours.
You haven't heard me. I have not spoken at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's not true though, but okay.
I've spoken.
If you wanted to speak,
you've been speaking the whole time. Stop lying.
That's crazy.
Okay, I've been speaking all the time. Who said that?
Gemini said that. Gemini said that, not me.
Why everybody just throw me under the bus? That shit crazy.
I know one time earlier you were they tried to get you to speak and you weren't at the mic.
Yeah, I did call for you at the mic and you weren't there.
To speak, and somebody said this fucking ass was late. Too late. And then I tried
to
That's okay, so Alexander like to speak, and then I left you next.
No, I'm going.
I don't need to speak. I don't think I'm going to be here.
Doc has been trying to talk.
Okay, huh? What you say?
Somebody else cut me off. I said, Doc has been trying to talk for a while. I'm watching this stage. He came off his mic a couple of times.
Oh, okay, go ahead. You guys got it. Now I'm at the phone now. I was trying to get ready for work. Go ahead, y'all. Is he on stage? I don't see Dark. Where y'all see Dark at?
He's dark. It's too dark. You can't see him.
Here am I.
Here thou be. They said you were coming off your mic. Go ahead, Dark. Speak up.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, it is incredible to me that Republicans choose to look backward when they refuse to take responsibility for things that are happening right now. It's always, what about Biden? What about Obama? Not what's happening right now. Trump can incite violence right now, and they're like, oh, well, What about when Biden was investigating these other Republican groups that were also inciting violence? For example, Charlie Kirk had a list of professors that encouraged his groupies to go target. So yeah, maybe they should investigate it. But that's all they got. Oh, what about shouldn't this be this? That it's cowardly. And I don't understand how they can be so cowardly about this. That's what Omari tries to do. Omari tries to go and shine his cowardice on all of us. I don't understand it. It's strange to me.
I want to answer somebody in the chat.
Famous Lisa.
Omari, hold on. I let you go. I want to answer somebody in the chat. They wanted to know if I was around when Martin Luther King got killed. I was a teenager when Martin Luther King got killed.
Rest in peace, MLK.
Hey, period on Alexander. Period.
Well, I was going to ask her a follow-up on that. Are you up for a follow-up, Alexander?
Go ahead.
Do you remember the climate after? Like, I know black people were angry. Were white people angry? Were they talking? I mean, were they making fun of what happened? Can you recall any?
Yes, they were laughing about it. Black folk took to the street. I mean, they took to the street marching before anybody, because we were in Atlanta, and that's where he lived. So, yeah, they were laughing about it. They thought it was funny. They thought he got what he deserved.
Not the same people that try to quote him every time they get a chance. Not the same people. I'm not saying all, but every time some girl got not the content of the character, but the color skin, but the content of the character. I've been to the mountaintop. Oh my God, they love them some Martin Luther King. Oh my God. Yep. If it took how long to get a holiday, but you can't beat these mofos quoting them. Yep. Gotta be one like Dr. Martin Luther King. So now Charlie Kirk is Martin Luther Kirk. And then his wife is
not Martin Luther Kirk.
There's something wrong with you. I know I got a problem. I'll be at the Apollo tomorrow. But I'm telling you,
I said that.
It is time for you to go to sleep. You need to. Martin Luther Kirk is the craziest shit I heard all day.
That's wild. I never
Martin Luther Kirk is crazy.
J.D. Vaughn, because that was too much.
See, we gotta block her from the name. Martin Luther Kirk and J.D. Vaughn. Like, what are we doing?
I'll be picking up names all
That shit
day.
was funny.
Don't hate, celebrate.
Now they're about to say that. Watch. They somebody about to use that somewhere.
She was about to look Coretta, and I know she was tight.
Yeah, I know.
We said that the other day, Alexander. Everybody questioned me because I'm not old enough to have experienced or been there. Not that I got 80-year-old uncles and aunts that told me that these things were occurring during that time. They were literally making fun of Martin Luther King and celebrating his death. They were doing it. And now in 2025, we can't do it. So, good bad.
And they keep trying to equate the two. What Martin Luther King did was try to bring people together. He was trying to, talk to blacks and trying to, keep them calm and trying to, talk to them before they went out and did stupid stuff. And when they did act, they did it in a nonviolent way, right? And it seemed like that made them even madder. Like they were trying to push them to have violence so they could have a reason to start shooting and killing people, which is what I believe they're trying to do now, is to make people so mad that they will. jump first, so they can have a reason to kill them. That's why they infiltrating these black cities, so they can be in position
and hanging black men,
killing folk whenever they get ready, and why these black men in these rooms can't at least understand that, see that for what it is. I don't know what's wrong with Notorious, his booty clapping ass, and
why don't you guys vote for them now?
Right. Huh?
When they get ready to start hanging people, excuse me, Lord, I'm not.
Oh shit, y'all.
When they start, hanging people on a regular, we need to gather them up and offer them up first.
Yeah. No. Lisa, no.
We're not gonna offer up our own. We can't do that. We can't offer nobody to look like us. We can't do that.
Whoa, wait, back up.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
Okay, y'all been excoriating these people all night, and then as soon as I said that we need to come on now, everybody.
I'm with you when you're right, Lisa.
And
you're right.
And you everybody
can't smoke signal when they lock you up. I'll try to come put some on the book.
For real, I'm definitely gonna put some money on her book. So she can get some hot Cheetos and Oreos and some honey buns.
Hey, I need to work on my fucking abs. I'll be working on my abs. I'll be working on my glutes, my poots, and everything else.
Big Bertha gonna be telling you look hot.
Working on more than that. You need to be working on locking your legs.
Big Bertha don't ask. Big Bertha demands.
She might be looking cute too about that time.
Big Bertha? Big Bertha demands. Don't ask.
But I was gonna tell you guys also, thank you for handling Bad Bunny. I'm following her, the Caucasian lady who had the rabbit in her picture.
Bad Bunny is.
Her name is Bella.
Her name is Bad Bunny. I will be following her and inviting her in on a regular. So get ready. I've already back channeled. I said, Bad Bunny, you gotta come back.
She's got a righteous ending.
Wait a minute, you back channeled up, but you can't respond to my message. What's going on?
I got your message. Have you heard me come off mic?
Wait, who's the Bad Bunny?
The one that you didn't like, Scotty.
That you came up on.
That
Bella Cello. He knows his Bad Bunny.
Bella Ciao. No, it's one thing to have it's another thing to have somebody like her gaslighting and then being racist in everybody's face here. That's a line that we shouldn't allow.
Scotty, these black people don't need your protection.
What did you say now?
Shut up, Amari.
Amari?
What you talking about? Hush.
What you talking about, Willis? Amari sent me this.
That's not why I'm making this.
You don't have to read the back channel.
I did read it. Amari, calm down.
I'm talking about to the audience.
No, I'm not gonna read the
Read it
back
to the
channel.
audience. I want to hear that hot and heavy.
I sent the clip to Telegram, and all of you guys who are members, card carrying members of 420, please join Telegram so I don't have to be going to every single solitary site to get you guys to see something. But our 420 Telegram, please join that. Go through Haitian, so then that way you guys can see, what's published and what needs to be played and what's going on for the day and when the rooms are going to open.
About the mods?
Not just the mods.
Okay, then I'm gonna have to leave. All my shit's gonna.
Oh Lord, what stuff do you have in there?
No.
Just talk to me later. This is not the place. Talk to me in Telegram.
Yeah, I won't. You don't have to worry about me.
You need a 420
Lisa, can I finish my
Telegram
statement?
for the room
Yes, you can,
and for the mods. Don't make the mod Telegram.
Oh well, we can
Give them their own Telegram.
That's what most of the groups, most of the clubs in the houses do. They have a private one for the mods, and they have one that's
We could do that. We do have a house chat. Maybe we can put it in that. I've never activated the 420 clubhouse chat at all. But anyway, yeah, we could do that. We'll start another one because it's really tiresome to go to all these different places to place information. I don't have the time to do that. Okay, so wait a minute. Go ahead, Scotty. I apologize.
Right.
Most of them jokers ain't gonna read.
Scotty, can you give me 1 second? I'm just gotta say one thing, real briefly. Lisa, this is gonna be the first episode that goes up on your YouTube. So there you go.
Oh no, not really.
Really?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to finish my statement before I was rudely cut off. Somebody like her, that person that you want to
Bad Bunny.
it's very different from some of the other regular people who align with MAGA that come in here. She is somebody to be very careful about because she is the type of person that will dock somebody. But worse than that, she comes on stage, she gaslights the entire stage and all the audience listening. She talked down to a black woman in here and was so disrespectful. She was spewing racist lies in here. And she got away with it for a very long time. And she is, if I were to run a room, that would be the red line. Some of these other people, they're making their arguments and whatever, and sometimes they're funny. This was not funny. To me, it was very dangerous what she was doing. So I don't know if there is a line or there's not a line, but she would not be one that I would ever want to see or share a stage with again. If she does come, I'm not going to be here because I will crash out on her because she's lying, deceitful, a gaslighter, and racist. And I'm sure she's also homophobe and other things, but I don't need to get into that. Thank you. I'm done.
So I heard her, and I will go back and listen to it again because once again, I know you guys have very busy lives, and I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you coming to the 420 as always. But I also have a busy life, and I know I was been instructed that because this is my room, I'm the face of the room, and I'm the top left of the room, that I have to bear all responsibility of whatever is said on my stage by whomever says it on my stage. So I've been told. But I think it's ludicrous to think that somebody who opens up a room can control anything that anyone says coming out of grown people's mouth. I would have to be a mind reader, Miss Cleo, Houdini, and damn near Jesus to know what you guys are going to say before you say it. So I will go back and listen to what she said. I heard some of it. She was actually talking to somebody, and I didn't even realize it was a female at the time because I was passing through and heard you and I heard you come up. That's what really got me to listening because you came up. You weren't on the stage the last time I looked on the phone, Scotty. And then when I come through into the ensuite, I heard you. And I said, well, I wonder what Scotty's up for. And then I heard her speaking. So I don't know what came before the part that I heard, nor did I hear when she absolutely disappeared off the stage. So if you guys agree with Scotty, you know where to put the information so I can read it. I will go back and also listen to the clip. But that's where I stand on the 420. I do my best to make sure there's no hate speech, no homophobic speech, none of that. But you guys also have to monitor your tongues. I cannot do that, and I won't do it. And please do not put the responsibility of it on me, male or female. I have enough to deal with. So police yourselves. You're grown, and I would just be here to provide the space so you guys would be able to have these important dialogues and discussions because they're very interesting and you guys are very intelligent. You know how to you know what to say before I do. Y'all at 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 season here.
Yeah, Lisa, that's fine. I was just giving my opinion that if I was mine the space, this is why I don't want the space. And what I thought crossed the line into an egregious territory that shouldn't be tolerated, in my opinion, where other people who disagree with us come up here and we have the conversations and it gets heated, whatever. This felt to me very, very different.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with Scotty. But it's not on just you, Lisa. I mean, it shouldn't be. The rest of us have
certainly not
up here. But she did. What she did was Gemini at that point was modding the space, doing a very great job, excellent job, and he was trying to give her space to say what she wanted to say, but she kept
well, people were trying to let her say it, and she was going kind of too far. So people were coming off mic and interrupting her, which then was giving her more time to land, so to speak. But she misrepresented what Sandra had said and called her. She came up and started with black women, something about black women and the black lives.
That's a stupid black argument, is what she said.
Stupid black argument. There you go.
It was after I was talking,
yeah,
actually.
She started out disrespectful. At one point, she then gave her, said what she wanted to say, and then she started to scold us, and that's when I had enough too. It was time for her to shut up.
Okay.
But I agree that while she was getting away with it because Jim and I was trying to give her time. Yeah, so then she started to get kind of belligerent and stuff, and he knocked her down. It was time for her to get knocked down. But we did agree that we would not allow misinformation. You can say what you want to say, but when it starts to go into misinformation and disinformation, it needs to stop. And that's what she was doing. She said Charlie Kirk loved people. He was not a racist. All the things that he is, she said he wasn't.
That's the part that I came in on. I heard her going over that, and I thought she was challenging you guys as far as, because that's the whole problem, is that they are stopping anyone from saying anything that is counter to what she's saying. So I said, okay, well, now we're getting it in real time, because that's when I came in, when she was talking about how he was not racist, he was not the divisionist, and da-da-da-da. I said, well, god dang, we got somebody in the room saying this in real time, as opposed to Christine, when she's Trumper. She's a Trumper. She's a female Trumper, and there are several on this app who are African American, but she's the only one now has decided that she would like to come in here and argue with you guys in 420, because she already knows what this room is about. So she knows what she's getting into when she comes in here. That's why I don't say nothing when she's on the stage, because she knows that. She's very clear.
So,
Miss Lisa.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I just say something real quick to Miss Lisa? Because
oh no, Miss Lisa.
Somebody else.
I always call her Miss Lisa.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to tell Lisa, she came in after I started talking. So if you go back, you can see, and then she was responding to something after I said.
Are you trying to speak?
I think I was.
You see this?
Yeah, be quiet, sir. It was a woman trying to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
And we're going to play Amari's clip at 17 minutes and something seconds where the clip starts. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Miss Lisa, I was saying that you came in after the first half of her submission, where she so very boldly, with 10 toes and all, was very fucking rude and insulting with the things that she was saying about black women. And the way she said the word black made me want to turn into AT&T and tell the punch that bitch.
Really?
She also called us
you people. Because Bad Bunny, she was in my. Did she get kicked because she was in my?
No, she got let to be listened to, Lisa, because
she didn't get kicked. She didn't get kicked.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But that's why people were upset, because she was trying.
I was letting her go, and I kept blocking people and letting her go.
And
I let her get her thought out.
I heard you guys saying that, and I'm moving around, because I have to be at work really early. So
Lisa, they're over exaggerating. Trust me.
No, we're not.
I'm gonna listen to it, Amari. Trust me.
Lisa, I've been working all night, and I was sitting in the audience all night. I was not going to come up for any reason tonight at all. I was going to go about my work, do my business, and go away. But the shit she was saying, I could not, in good faith, if had I a few moments, I had to raise my hand and come up and say what I said. I was shot and brought down because I interrupted. That was fine. I get it. You want to run a room. But I couldn't tolerate it. Eventually, I came back up, and said what I needed to say. But the point is, it was that egregious that I felt I had to come up. I would not have done that If it was any one of the other regular cast of characters that come in, and say shit and argue with you guys, this just to me crossed the line, and that was all.
Who was
But
this?
I don't have any.
And you know what else happened was I think it was
And I respect that, Scotty. I respect that because that's who I was heard. But hold on, that's who I heard. I could be honest with you. I'm telling you, when I was moving about and watching, the machine was on, and I heard Scotty. And I knew Scotty was in the office because when I was sitting at the computer doing the research and stuff, I start reading the chat and stuff now, and I saw Scotty down there. So when he started talking, and I heard the tone of his voice, I came back into the bedroom to the computer, and I was like, "What the heck?" And I heard her saying this stuff about about CK and how, he's this, he's that, he's this. And I was like, oh, wow, we got somebody in the room who's actually saying the things that they want us to actually say. And, and I could tell she was Caucasian because I heard you guys had said it. So I just said, okay, so I turned my back. I took a screenshot of it so I guess I won't be reaching out to her. I took a screenshot of the stage.
Yeah, I thought she was black. She white?
No, she's Caucasian.
And you couldn't hear the Valley Girl in her voice. I mean, that's the reason why she.
She literally said, "You black people."
I was gonna say you didn't hear the way she said the word black.
Well, I mean, I can't get from up and I'm asking who this person is, and anybody answering who the person is. Who's this person?
Her name is Bella. Bella something.
Bella. Her name is Bad Bunny, Sugar Bunny, a little cute bunny. And I'm gonna call her Bella, but her name is Bella, Bella.
I just came off of the grind. I was on and off the stage, but I know who you guys are referring to.
Oh, okay.
So the way she said black, she used she sounded like maybe like Carlton. That was a problem. I mean, she didn't say the N word. I mean, she said black.
What is the need to defend her?
She said this is what she said. Hold up. What she said is this is a black problem. She said it with emphasis, like black.
She said this is a spit black argument. One. So those were her words verbatim. Because somebody said that dating a trans person doesn't inherently make you gay, and or make you leftist, make you a liberal, and that there's lots of gay Republicans. And she said that is a stupid black argument made by a black woman. That's what the fuck came out of her mouth.
I thought she was talking about me at first, right? Because I was like, why you?
Amari, I thought she was protecting you too. The way the
I was confused at that whole conversation.
And she
said
she
was talking to me.
told you to be quiet because she was on your side. So those are the parts and pieces that I need to on, and that's when I said.
I might have missed that part. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, you heard a lot. But Alpha Glam was trying to make room for her too. They were talking over her, and Alpha Glam said, "Wait, let her talk." And when she started talking, Alpha Glam said, "Oh, she on that side."
Yeah, I thought she was on your side. I thought she was going up against me. I was about to go on her.
No, and then Justin.
I mean, she is against you, Amari. She is. She doesn't like black people, so that includes you too. As a matter of fact, I don't think much of MAGA thinks kindly to one, the gays, and two, the blacks. So how you feel about that? You're not one of the two.
But I got a lecture all day today. Well, not they weren't really lecturing me, but I was just jumping in. I kind of lost my cool on one particular part of the conversation about the Supermax trends they were talking about, and I was told that these particular subset of a subset are basically right wingers, somebody can correct me, who are pseudo trans people. They say they're trans, they want to be trans because they said the women have the soft life, but they don't transition, but they call themselves trans. That's what they were trying to say, that this, don't mention any names because we have people on the stage who can't have a connection to the conversation that Kimmel had today. I'll just put it that way. But it's just too much. And I've been trying to figure out all day today. So I was getting the business. So I'm just trying to go back and research that particular topic. But they're supposed to be on the left, these trends, if I got it right. And I probably don't have it right.
Yeah, let me just explain. Like, there is a percentage that is not small of the LGBT community, which includes trans, that are MAGA or right wing or radicalized in some way, and they have nothing to do with the left. They don't want anything to do with the left. So that's the reality of it. But what I find really fascinating is you have a grown man who assassinated this person in a very disgusting way and a wrong thing to do. And it's his responsibility. It's nobody else. It's not the person he talked to. It's not his family. It's not anything else. It is him that is solely responsible. And yet, because of a roommate who may be trans, I don't fucking know, whose ideology we don't know, now that person is directly responsible for all of this hate, and not the white Christian boy who grew up in a MAGA household, running with firearms since he was 10 years old in that kind of culture. He cannot be held responsible. It has to be the person who's the roommate, who he has known for, a short amount of time, who is trans, who is also not left wing. So I don't understand why that responsibility can't just fall on him and him alone.
Because they need the boogeyman. Without the boogeyman,
That was rhetorical. We know the answer.
So he didn't know that. I knew that though.
Okay. Let's see. Now is. Oh, okay. So, do we have any more information on the person or persons responsible for killing 3 police officers and injured? I have the clip from my favorite, Shapiro, favorite of all, well, my second favorite of all time governors, and he's speaking on the situation. Are you guys interested, or you just want to?
Yes, I've been wanting to hear that. I heard it was a good speech.
Oh, is the actual speech? Okay,
He's like he's speaking to people and he's talking about the violence, and he reminds me of Barack Obama.
Why does he remind you of Barack Obama?
If you just look at the way he speaks, his hands, the way he pauses, you could tell like he had the whole Toastmaster Barack Obama probably teaching.
Well, that's
say
funny.
That he emulates Obama, and that he's like ruling Obama, and then other people.
I knew you were going to say
Obama
that
because he's a great.
See, that's why they were hating on him when I was trying to say, "Oh, please don't choose Timmy, please choose Joshi for vice president," and everybody was like, "Oh, he's trying to be like Obama. He's like the white fake Obama." I was like, "What? The Jews?" To me, I thought if I'm going to emulate anyone, it's very much will be the Obamas. Yeah, what's wrong with that? I mean, we all do here love the Obamas, so you think that's an issue that he would want to be like a great leader and a very intelligent man?
I would vote Democrat if Westmore or Shapiro's on the ticket. There's nobody else. Those are the only 2 Democrats I would vote.
Kamala would have chosen Shapiro, you would have cast your vote.
No.
At that point,
they have to be the head. So so that means Westmore has to be the nominee. He has to be the Democrat or Shapiro. Those 2, I'll jump back.
Do you not feel like a woman is capable? Do you not feel like a
real quick, what did he say? I'm sorry.
Do you not feel like a woman is capable for the job as president?
What is your name, man? Juicy. Hi, Juicy. I do believe a woman is capable, like a Condoleezza Rice, but not the woman that is in Kiana's picture.
Condoleezza Rice. Wow, that's interesting. I am too. I'm just whoa.
More.
And another thing I want to do before I play.
That's why he would vote for her.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Lisa, did y'all talk about Jasmine Crockett's Senate hearing with Cashman's out.
I didn't even know she got a chance to speak. Oh, she
I just posted
today.
I just posted it in the chat.
Oh my God!
If you want to see it.
Okay. I think we should play it. Who has it?
It's the TikTok. It's a TikTok though. I know you don't got TikTok.
No, I don't.
Are you gonna play Shapiro too, Lisa?
I'm gonna play both before it gets really late. So so go ahead and play jazz. I love me some Jasmine. I want to hear her first.
I can't play it. Somebody else will have to play it. But I posted it.
You got it, Scotty?
Yeah, Lisa, they're upset with her because she's paying for the boy's funeral. The boy that got hung.
Wait. She's what?
Yeah, so they upset with her so much
because
shit.
she's paying for the funeral.
You know who.
What?
Hold on for just a second, Scotty. Hold 1 second. Did you guys just hear what Alexander just said?
Yeah. That they're upset that she's paying for the funeral.
Who?
The kid that got hung in the who and why?
You know who.
But why do they
get involved?
This is wild. Why do they care? Who is paying for this young man's funeral? We need to be holding vigils and maybe fill up the stadiums like Beyonce. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. We can't do shit anymore. Not even pay for our own fucking funerals. There's a black woman paying for a black young man who was in college funerals. I was waiting for the GoFundMe because I was going to contribute. I was going to know the parents. Has anybody seen any GoFundMes for him? Because I haven't.
They have one too. Yeah, they have a GoFundMe too.
Okay, so I'm going to look it up in the morning. They've hired Ben Crump. I told you guys that. They've hired Ben Crump. So they think there is why would they hire him? Because they think there's some foul play going on. If it was a suicide, why would you hire a lawyer?
Because the parents said that when the police knocked on their door to tell them about it, the police told them that he was found in his bed dead. Yeah.
Oh no.
But it was somebody that worked for the college that discovered his body. So,
How they gonna mix up somebody hanging from a tree to laying down deceased in their bed? How do you get that fucked up? As a police officer, I don't get that part.
That's why the parents hired Ben Crump to get to the bottom of it.
Wow. Okay.
Weren't they supposed to have found him on the pickleball court?
That's the other one. Wasn't that the other one or the
hanging? He was supposedly hanging from a tree out there at the pickleball court.
Yes.
Okay.
Not what
these guys won't understand.
If you are an anti-Semitic individual,
No one
Here.
It's
That's
not
just a
okay.
question. Doesn't know why.
It's a whole red question.
describe yourself
No one
as
cares.
CAI and
No one cares.
CAI if that qualifies you as a hater of Jews.
What does that
You can
mean?
do that. Just type in the details that describe you, Mikhail, and then you will understand that you are an anti-Semitic individual.
So vulnerable,
You don't want to know who you are. Just find out. Find out how much you hate Jews. You know that you do.
Maybe go to the
You can't deny it.
and cry there.
Can't really
Go.
I don't. It's so weird that he's just like, we're this continuation of a 3,000 year tradition. I don't know what this guy's even talking about. There is no such thing as a 3,000 year tradition, nor is there an archive that
you hate Jews. That's what I'm saying. Can you respond? Respond to what I'm saying, Mikhail.
Santa Claus isn't real. You hate Christmas.
You hate.
No,
you
but
are an
Santa Claus is
anti-Semitic
real, and then
individual.
you're just like, you hate Christmas.
You hate Muslims too.
And you're not even
Why
responding
you hate
to
Muslims?
the claim.
Listen, I believe
You
I'm
hate
actually
Jews, Mikhail.
You hate
Just
Muslims.
repeat after me, and you will be
just
telling
like how
the
the
truth.
BHI. I think you're.
Go
I
ahead.
think if you guys.
You can do it. Admit that you hate Jews.
Admit you hate Muslims.
You will see that you're no
Admit
different than
that
the
you
BHI.
are the anti-Semitic
Admit it.
individual
You're
that you are.
anti-Semitic, Devin.
You
You
will see
hate
that you're no
Muslims.
different than the
Okay,
BHI.
we got that straight.
Oh, you
Thank
hate
you.
Muslims, Devin? Are you
Thank
an
you for
Islamophobe?
admitting that you hate
Because
the
I
Jewish people.
fear
And
the
Gail,
irony of
you
God.
sound like you're on the same wavelength.
Dude, we don't care. You don't matter.
So all we
Nothing
know,
about that.
all we
You
know
find
is
it.
that we are having a conversation with two Jew haters. Two Jew haters who want to demonize Jews, who want to paint Jews in a bad light. That makes you an anti-Semitic individual.
And why do we hate Jews since you know so much?
Why?
About
Go
it?
ahead, tell me.
You tell me. I know since you know so much.
You're the one who hates Jews. You know yourself.
No, I'm
Do you not?
curious because you're telling me
You don't
stuff
know
about
yourself? So you don't know why you hate Jews, is that it?
but you should know since
You
know
don't
so
know
much about
why. Isn't that curious?
I'm curious as
You
well.
hate
That's why I'm
Jews,
asking.
but you don't know why. That's
That's why
great.
I'm asking.
Hey, you're both doing great. You both hate Jews. You both have no idea why.
You tell us, because you know everything.
I can't wait till like after
Okay, thank you for conceding that you are an anti-Semitic individual, but the question remains, why? Why are you as anti-Semitic as you are?
I swear.
Please explain.
I have moments where I feel like, even in the past, and I don't know, and I guess this is deja vu, right? This is what they call deja vu, but it feels like the more I experience deja vu, it feels like some sort of like connection of like oh, I just remembered before I had a dream or some sort of like like just imagination moment where I saw a moment of the world ahead of that one. And I believe that's like what deja vu is. You remember that you remembered prior to a moment that you remembered. I know it's weird.
Yeah, very weird. You are the weirdest anti-Semitic individual around. That's great. You qualify for the Jew hater of the.
I'm literally Semitic. Like the irony of
you're a Jew hater.
The English language.
You're a Holocaust denier. You're all those great things. You're the lowest of the low,
think it's
man.
English.
You're
See,
just
I
the
don't
lowest
think in
of
Arabic
the low.
we would have
You are
a
a
conversation.
slimy individual who crawls
Just Arabic
around
wouldn't
on
allow
his
it to
belly
happen.
like a worm.
It's weird.
You hate
Like
Jews simply
I
because
notice
Jews
in
are
English
Jews,
rooms,
and
like,
you
I'm
hate
having conversations
those
so
people who are
stupid
called
that
Jews.
He
You
is.
can
and it
run
only
your
dawns
diarrhea
when
mouth
I translate
all
it
you
to
like.
Arabic, and I'm like,
I'm telling you the truth about you. You should just shut the fuck up and understand who you are. You're a Jew hater.
Okay, what do you want me to do, Devin? Tell me what you want me to do.
That you're an
What do you want me
anti-Semitic
to do?
individual.
What do you want me to do?
Have fun. Enjoy your identity.
Okay, sure. You too. Something is wrong with these guys. Like I think
I think they're
I
just
don't blame
panicking,
you.
panicking.
Like, okay, let me be honest. I'm gonna be straight up, real honest. Jews are just niggers. Like y'all know different than them, and you see the BHI and stuff. Like when you have an identity disconnect, and you're like trying to like lie to yourself, like you end up, you expose yourself. And this is what you see. So when I'm talking to the BHI, I'm like bringing them like the DNA evidence, and I'm like, "Here's AI. Here's what do you want? Let's do this." Like, you hear all kinds of gaslighting and they ad hominems or try to like act like they don't see the logic or whatever. or like AI is conspiring against him.
It's just denial and indoctrination.
You know,
Nothing
I'm
more, nothing
as
less.
realistic. I pride myself by logic and reason. Like I'm literally a pursuer of truth by all means. Like I'm one of those guys. I believe in that. I believe in knowledge and science. Like I totally believe in that. These are the pillars. And in Islam, anybody who has made their path the path of pursuing knowledge is literally on a path that is the same path as like prophets and martyrs. So, you know, I'm just saying. So I've committed to something like this a long time ago. So I'm completely committed to knowledge and truth and logic and reason. And if I believed my religion was illogical in any fundamental way, I wouldn't believe in it. I just wish people like would give me the benefit of the doubt. Like I believe I sound reasonable enough. Like I know I can get down to the dirt with someone or troll someone. I get that. I'm human. At the end of the day, I get angry too, and God gets angry. So it's just like, you know, it is what it is. It's their fault. You know, the one who starts is the one you should condemn, not the one who responds. You know, but do give me the benefit of the doubt that I can look from within your paradigm and see whether, you know, there can be a logic found, like in a fundamental way. I'm not even going to criticize you on the secondary stuff, but literally your fundamental stuff doesn't make any sense. And so someone who's truly committed to God and someone who's committed to knowledge and truth, who is a Jew, like, I just don't believe these people don't exist at this point, or they're hiding or something. And the closest we've seen to something like this, like Tovia Singer, and he keeps it pretty strict to Christianity, or Pauline Christian. So clearly there's a vacuum. You know, unfortunate. I mean, Judaism does have a way to vindicate itself. Like, you know, if Jews really want to be, you know, you could be a rising phoenix and like the name of Israel, like, you know, take it as a, you know, Israel is a universal name. Like it's not, we're all Israel. Like it's a faith thing. Like it's never meant to be a national. They got, yes, Israel, Jacob, all that. I understand that too. But you know, Israel is a faith, is a nation of faith. It's the kingdom of God. That's what it is. It's just, so all believers in God should share within this kingdom. Our loyalty should be to this hierarchy. And with Jews, you never feel it. It's weird. Like I'll sometimes I'll feel it from a Christian, but I won't feel it from a Jew. Rarely, and literally, one of the only Jews that I've really like, other than Yoshi, if you guys remember, and I forgot what his name, who's trolling on YouTube these days. I forgot. No, can't remember. Yeah, but he converted to Islam. So he was literally one of the most knowledgeable Jews, I believe, who were on this app, along, you know, the Orthodox Jews like Yoshi and Julian. Yeah, they're on the younger side, but I still believe they were more knowledgeable than even people like, you know, Caleb. think Yoshi would have just slapped. Yeah, and he has, like, many times. I mean, some people don't know who Yoshi is. Orthodox Jewish kid, like on speed. Yeah, he did. He converted to Islam. And I had these discussions with him. And I was like, since you're Jew, but you're into philosophy and all that, and philosophy is like this pursuit of like knowledge and truth and reason. So you would commit to that, regardless of like the tradition. If the ship is gonna scuttle, it's gonna scuttle, dude. Like that's it. Let's not lie to the people and tell them the Titanic isn't sinking. Like, let's tell them as soon as possible, so there isn't a freak out at the end. And unfortunately, Judaism is this, this wreck, this wreckage that is like floating in a sea that belonged to a ship, a great ship, and that ship is gone. It's over. There was a nation of Israel, a nation of believers that we celebrate, we hold as our idols and as our examples. But that nation is gone. The prophecies have come true. Jews just need to accept that like Jesus is the Messiah, and there's a lot of evidence for this, and within rabbinic Jewish tradition, and it's just like learning these things is what scares Jews, I believe. Yeah, so Jews don't like it when you learn their shit, because then you realize how fragile it all is, and I thought it was because it's some sort of cryptic Da Vinci Code, like it's hidden in there in Gemara and stuff. No. They don't want you reading it because it is that incoherent. It is that contradictory. It is that fluid. And, there's a logos that governs like rabbinic Judaism that people don't catch on to. And it's just that there is this group of people within even Israel, within every people, that think they're the wealthiest and the most intelligent and the most strategic, and they just got a chip on their soldiers. They're blue blood. They just see themselves that way. Why? Depends on the society, but they exist everywhere. They're just blue blood. Maybe even some of us at some points might end up expressing that. And rabbinic Judaism is this blue blood thing, but presented as a deed to God that, it's like somehow God, you need to like pay for this, it's just crazy. But that's pretty much kind of what Judaism is. And I just find that silly. Like you would even be like, I don't know, like this. I don't think the ancients knew that this, billion, what even a billion looks like or sounds like, or it's just completely. We're on a different scale. Like I don't know how they would have seen it. But there's like, it's this elitism, it's this ego, which we believe rejected the Messiah, Jesus. Yeah, and we saw this ego. The Quran talks about it, like in Saul. So so when the Israelites, convened to like have a king, or they went to the prophet, we want a king, and he's like, all right, so if God chooses a king, you guys would all accept God's choice, and they're like, yeah. we'll accept God's choice. And when he chose Saul, they all, started bitching. So they all started complaining. And so that's the story in the Quran. Not the Hebrew Bible that tries to depict Saul as some, loser douchebag, fall from grace kind of, I don't, which is a common theme in the Hebrew Bible. It's just like this depiction of these revered figures, like these, divine act individuals, God touched by God individuals, and the way they're being described. Clearly you have to see that there's an agenda. Like, this can't be. It's all part of testing. There we go. I don't know why, so weird when that bubble doesn't show up when you're talking, or that vibration or something. Where was there's just this notion, if you look at it, one could describe the Hebrew Bible as some sort of conspiracy of the kingdom of Judah, some sort of state propaganda. Honestly, I think this is what the Hebrew Bible is. I think it's state level, state sponsored propaganda, Hellenized, definitely Hellenistic. I just don't believe the God of Abraham would, or our God would use terms like son of God, or, this language. This is Greco language. This is Roman Greco, clearly. This isn't just some coincidence. It's not coincidence that these Greco-Romans have sons of God and all that. That idolatry, that paganism. No descendant of Abraham, no one not following the tradition of Abraham would be ever fooled by something like that. But again, this is what makes a lot of Jews truly just goy. You're just goy. It's just people don't have no spirit. No spirit breathed into you. There's no covenant binded in your blood. You're not adhering to no covenant standard. Just want to fool ourselves. And in a world where identity is fluid and one can just make shit up, I can make shit up, and as long as there's coherency to it, why not? And then let me compare myself to a bunch of other shitty, cults around the world. Proof. So stupid. I don't know why anybody would run with rabbinic Judaism. Straight up, I would not trust the blue blood of Kingdom of Judea and whatever cult that continues to a weed, every time the whole castle's about to fall. Something about rabbinic Judaism, it's just like a rat that continues to survive. It's Satan. It's Satan. It's the hops of Satan throughout the human time continuum. That's what it is. It is. I really. I'm a Muslim. You guys know it, right? I'm straight up. I'm on team. One God. I'm with the Orthodox Jews on this one. I completely accept their positions for the most part. I believe Islam should model itself after the halakha when it comes down to dealing with Christians. Obviously with some, no commitment to violence or demeaning, but an overall commitment to destructure idolatry. And I believe that's probably where Islam went wrong, and that's why we're suffering the current negative slope, which hopefully on our bounce up we'll learn. And so it won't be a repetitive, we won't look insane in the history books. But I do that synagogue of Satan, like Jews who are not really Jews, but synagogue of Satan, like bro, like I'm sorry, like I would hate Jesus too. I mean, talk about a guy who is either been crucified for 2,000 years or gone up to the heavens, whatever, or boiling in feces, whatever. This guy, like who apparently is a Jew, gave the biggest fu, across centuries, 20 centuries, to and you really believe there's a God at that point? I mean, I would disbelieve too, right? If I believed in that stuff, if you really think about it, like Jesus, even if Jesus is false, he won at the end of the day. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, we could be cynical about it, but then what does that mean about your God? Like, one of the biggest problems with Judaism is accounting for God failing at critical moments, even though the Jews are the only monotheists, as in they are what the nation of believers or representatives or the Khalifa or the Caliphate would have been on earth, the Kingdom of Solomon. And God had no problem, bringing down, completely just, the Hebrew Bible just, like, God's not, either he's distracted or clearly callous or something, or just stingy, I don't know, man. Even gets beaten by a foreign god, God of Moab. It's like, it's clearly state propaganda. Like, there's no way you would believe that this is divinely revealed. Like, it's just absolute insanity. Hebrew Bible. Like this story, the story of like Jacob and Esau alone, if you had true belief in God, and I mean the belief of an innocent, like I don't mean, so I'm sorry, there are people who don't understand that there's a price you pay when you live life without faith in the true God. God is forgiving, but the past is the past. And the past can't be changed. And there are consequences, iniquities. And, you will never have the same frequency as a human who's lived their whole life, their whole awareness is connected to God, or understands that there's a God, or acknowledges a God, or orbits with God as the supreme. Like that's a different frequency, man. That's a different mindset. That's a different human. It's not the same. That's the human. Like you see that mindset a lot in Gaza, like places like that, but it's rare around the world, especially in Judeo-Christian communities. It's just no faith, no commitment, nothing even close to Islam. Like Muslims, the way they commit to faith. I'm objectively speaking, as someone who's seen like both sides. I've gone to synagogue, gone to churches. I've been the fly on the wall. I'm not going to say I've been to a lot, like 3 to Catholic church. I go. I try to. If I'm invited, if someone will go with me, I don't go alone. I don't go anywhere traveling or new alone. Just like, why go alone and look dumb on your own? It don't make any sense. Anyways. If that all, doesn't make you like second guess, at this point it would just be stubbornness. Like if you're Jew just because you're stubborn, that's all it is. Like, even though, it's Zionism fundamentally changed what it means to be a Jew. And yet there's this commitment. Like, even if you don't believe in God, I'm still committed to this narrative. Like, the narrative is their God, like, in a way. And that explains a lot, right? Like, I believe that explains a lot. The Jews believe they're the rabbinic Judaism believes they're the authors of what God actualizes, or what, the book of destiny or fate, whatever they call it, the book of life. They think they're the scribes. Unless their pens hit paper and the ink dries and they codify it, that is when it is accepted. That's when it's divine. That's when it's godly. That's when it's taken into reverence. Yeah, that's not going to slide. I don't know why you would even revere the rabbis. What have the rabbis done for the Jewish people, quote unquote? What have they done? Seriously. If I'm just saying, because, this isn't an obsession, because it is the history of this region, just from that region. So I honestly believe this history relates way more to me. I'm actually, there's a part of me a long time ago, who's been baffled on why so many people around the world are interested in the place that I'm in, even though I hated the place I'm in and I was willing to go back to the United States at any moment. It's weird how you grow up and perspectives change. But yeah, it was always weird looking at Palestine and just all these people care about this. There are better places in America. Shit, there's Nintendo in America. Y'all couldn't leave America alone, could you? Whenever humanism wants to make a leap, you see Jews sabotaging, dragging that foot 2 steps back. But maybe that is has the enforcement of the decree by God. Maybe he uses the Jews somehow. I mean, there's nothing inherent about Jews that makes them bad. Clearly, I mean, there's nothing genetic because they're genetically diverse, different lineages. You can't stereotype based on lineages. It's not publicly or popularly known. So what is it really? It's, it's an association, right? It's a members only club. Where, it's like Freemasonry. That's pretty much what Judaism is at this point. And rabbinic Judaism, and you know what, they made different themes. That's what Freemasons, Illuminati, the orders, like, all this stuff. It's all replicas of like rabbinic Jewish like bureaucracy or structures or laws. That's all it is. Just like the Kabbalah is just Platonism with Jewish painting, right? Jewish themes. Like this is, just happened before. It happens a lot, actually. But yeah, maybe the it is true. Like the people might not like this, but God has destined the world and the presence of humanity on this earth to be a volatile with animosity. So it will have animosity. There will always be animosity. There will always be enemies. Right? So that's just the rule. That's the name of the game. That's just the mechanics of the game. There has to be tribulation. That's the whole point. Tribulation brings decision, facing a choice and a dichotomy, good, bad, dark, light. Yeah, if I was just completely, which they already paid the price for Chokhmah, like they all got killed anyways. Like honestly, why would you, like when you see rabbinic Judaism and this like over glorification of like Akiva, Mir, Hanasi, it's like isn't this the crowd or the chain of transmission into the future that originates from the very shit show that brought or endorsed the Bar Kokhba revolt? I'm sorry, it seems like Jesus's way ended up being much more influential, and one could say maybe even fractured internally the Roman Empire, which left it susceptible or vulnerable to the rise of Islam. One could say or explain divine providence that way. Just rabbinic Judaism has like this collapse in divine providence. You don't know what God is doing. Hundreds of years, void, gaps, no prophets, and nothing. Like, what's going on? What's God doing? Is God like dark matter? We just can't figure it out, or like quantum mechanics? Some lineup of planets or galaxies they tap, and what is it about God and rabbinic Judaism, the tradition? What is God doing? That's a question. Like, if Jews, if the narrative is true, like you have this like chosen people and they're chosen to hold, carry the burden of like the law and being a standard and light to the nations and humanity and Bani Adam and all that. Like, and this is what it's supposed to be. This is the divine, interaction with humanity. This is a shit show. 4 exiles later, this is a shit show. Like, what is this? Like, you really gotta be sincerely asking yourself this question. Like, first time, you know, it's on me. So, yeah, second time it's on, or what? Is it first time it's on you? Second time it's on, you know, it's on me? Or third time is the charm? Or what are we doing here now? Four times is what? Oh, but there's a fifth time too. Like, apparently there's like a fifth exile. Oh shit! Like, you know, which might end up somehow in a weird branch of time, assuming this multiverse shit is real. It is very much possible that it could be the BHI in the future who see these relating to them in some sort of like dystopian reality where, you know, BHI now carry the mantle of who gets to identify as Jewish, which right now is the Ashkenaz, due to numbers, wealth, and influence. But that's you know, Israel, they got like a Mizrahi rabbi and they got an Ashkenazi rabbi. So you can see there's contention on this one. Like the Arab Jews are like, yeah, you guys are useful, but yeah, fuck no. If we're gonna give you the keys to the car of religion, you snow bunnies, yeah, we wouldn't trust you with the keys to the temple. You call yourself Jew, but you know, we're not giving you the keys. So, you know, I'm glad that's there. Obviously. Well, like, I mean, it's kind of hard to see like a Semite, Hamite, like kind of unified identity. Yeah, I guess. I mean, Arab world, right? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I would not be following any of these rabbis, bro. I wouldn't follow this tradition of failures. Like, what are you keeping record of? Like, how many failures in a row? Like, how long is this streak supposed to be? Oh, did the streak end with the rise of the secular national state? You know, the ethno, you know, eugenic, injected false deity. Like that's when the streak ended. Like this can't be divine providence. You understand that Israel can't be divine providence. And the Orthodox logic, or this like, you know, Haradim logic of testing. Nope. Testing. This testing. I don't know. I'm just gonna disconnect it. Test. There we go. I think that. No, not didn't. Test. That did it. Yep, there we go. Stupid app. Yeah, I wouldn't trust rabbinic Judaism. Like, I mean, especially like the lineages. Out of all the shit you could have set up a contingency for, like the goddamn Essenes were doing it. They had like these like doomsday libraries out there in the middle of nowhere. Clearly, they saw that there was going to be. How did it that these clowns prophesized that there was going to be a doomsday scenario? So, you know, the story of Judaism is not taught, shouldn't be seen from the rabbinic Jewish lens. It definitely should be within weight. But, you know, take that all the historic evidence we have, like especially with the Essenes, what they believed, and then connect that with Christianity. I'm just saying, it seems like they saw that there was going to be this collapse, and they were preparing for a collapse. And you see this records, and you see this notion of maintaining cleanliness. You know, at first it seems like maybe they're just being like hyper religious or something, but when you think about it in a scenario of like where there's like for example in Gaza, like civil collapse in civil society, like cleanliness, that level of cleanliness, which might have been something you scuffed at, becomes essential and necessary, and a necessary guideline. As long as that's kicked into memory and people practice it over and over again, they do it subconsciously, right? Yeah. The more you learn, the more you live life, the more, you know, what seems silly to you maybe as a kid seems, you know, you start understanding the wisdom of things. You know, God is preparing us for the worst and preparing us for the best. I think the Essenes the historic evidence is clear. They existed before Jesus. This can't be disputed. Did the Essenes prophecy they just magically came true? Was it a coincidence? Like, how did they anticipate the fall of Jewish I guess you could say kingdom, fall of a civil order, or civil government, or central government, or I don't know, classes. I guess you could say maybe classes. So that's a miracle on its own. That's a prophecy that came true. I don't know. Clearly, there has to be a connection. It's not a coincidence. Oh my God, this mic thing. Turn off the Wi-Fi. Test. Tish. Tick. Tack. And now I'm alone. I need some. Okay. Nope. Still not working. This app has some sort of delay. I'm just gonna keep going. Maybe it'll just fix itself. like if your government, any government in the world, you go to war several times and you're just losing every single time, the people are going to topple you. They're going to overthrow you, kick you to the side. I mean, that's what the West did with the Catholic Church, right? That's what they did. It's can you hear me? Just real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it would make sense if there is this so-called Jewish consciousness or Jewish people or national, community, which, come on, like, no way this could have existed, but you do you, boo. Whatever, believe in it. It would make sense to rebel against these guys. Honestly, what the Zionists did is just like should have happened like a long time ago. But it seems like only in the West was what Zionism is actually a creation of another body of government that isn't the rabbinate. So that's actually what happened. And so you can count on the rabbinate to be a failure because they're always failures. And so, the rats are, all the mice are going to jump ship anyways. So that is literally what happened. They all just jumped ship and they went to the Zionist ship. It's ironic. A lot of people be saying Zionism and Judaism are two different things. Okay. I mean, one is the projection of the other. One is a cause, the other one is an effect. Like, sure. I mean, you gotta take the good with the bad. So, and they don't learn either. So continues and how they don't learn. The theme repeats itself. So false messiahs show up, and you see the theme, and you see Shabtai Tzvi, and you see Frank, and it's just like, and Kabbalism. It's like the infiltrations, and they don't learn. They don't learn. And I'm confused. It's weird. Why is it that if you believe in God, you genuinely believe in God, why the necessity of like this shadow dagger shit? What is this? And if this shadow dagger shit is valid, then, what do you have against terrorism? You don't. Like, it's so. This is why I always roll my eyes, and I found it always, and I believe will be the best talking point, and should always be the only talking point, is, why the hell, why are you Jews? Why are you calling yourself Jews? I honestly don't understand why all these people are calling themselves Jews. Like, just, you're a godless atheist. Even if your parents were pious Muslims, okay, you have special status now. You're an apostate, so, okay, cool. So because he has special status now under an Islamic framework or paradigm or related to like a specific spectrum of ethnic people? Like what? Like there must be some sort of universal Jewish identity that transcends like adhering to axiomatic truths that you don't really believe in. I don't know. It's a joke. It's seriously a joke. I don't know if it was an ego thing or God meant this to be some sort of reflection, or God saw this the best way or the most efficient, the least action. I don't know. It can't be just because Sarah threw a hissy fit, right? It can't be. It can't be that God meant for it, like, to be this way, a determined way. It can't be. It's it would be stupid to believe so. A moral disaster to believe so. I just think if anybody who's left surprised on why half the Jews are atheists, are people who are just ignorant of Rabbinic Judaism and the Hebrew Bible. I honestly don't like the cognitive dissonance of people like Rohan when they throw rocks and they literally living in like not even a glass house, nylon homeless guys attempt to like shelter from rain. It's like nothing. You got nothing, bro. Like, why is this guy bringing like a Nerf gun to a gunfight? Like it's hopefully I don't age to a point where my mind becomes that rigid and static. Hopefully not. But it's usually you get that boomer vibe. It's like they're just stuck. They're just a model. They're just like they don't have that much processing power. All the processing power is dedicated to like making bitcoins. The bitcoins that they have that make them feel like they got something, some pseudo identity. It doesn't matter. Ties it all back to the blacks, the blacks and the Jews and the ADOS or the Negro or whatever you want to call it. I honestly don't see. Just like with the Jew, like you could say Jew and the Jew is more sophisticated, and they have to be this because like I said, they're spectrum, and they hold themselves to high standards. But even with that, a Jew, you could say it in a specific tone, and that could be an insult, and an insult will be usually received and will be noticed. And the same thing is with black people. The N-word. The N-word is the same thing in a way. Just that correlation should show you there's there's some sort of symmetry in the pattern that these two demographics are following, the trajectory that they're in, or the graph, you could say, the symmetry. It's clearly the symptoms of a people who are like remnants, gypsies in a way. It's a gypsy ideology, on the move, ragtag, maintaining of some sort of like traditional memory, like kind of thing. Special privileges, secret handshakes, and like, we'll probably hire you over that German guy, stuff like that. It's so bad. It's so bad. This is what happens when tolerance is made. And again, another irony. Honestly, this stuff really, at the end of the day, you go crazy because it's so stupid. If the example of Jews and even Christians is David and Solomon and the kingdom of Solomon. Solomon was literally a Nazi. Like he was a Hitler. Like in the sense that he was an authoritarian iron fist of divine power. Like, at least in Islam, like, hey, that kingdom, those people, they're worshiping fire. Dude, ultimatum, just like Muslims in the 7th century with like Heraclius, like, and Kisra, like of the Sassanids, like, bro, like you either tribute, you convert, or I send you to meet God, like. If that is the ideal, and what, like, if you guys all want the Messiah so bad, and you want the Messianic kingdom so bad, and the recipe is that the law of God will be, enforced in an iron fist, what the fuck is preventing you from doing it right now? This is when you realize that Christians and Jews, they got nothing. When the Quran says they are literally upon nothing, it's true. Literally upon nothing. It's just like the Jews have found a tradition. They have found a tradition in gaslighting themselves, or scholars, or nerds. I'm sorry. Or I mean, so many ways to look at it. Judaism as a body, with the rising of Christianity, because of Islam, created a dynamics, and especially in that regional world. And your religion, your affiliation with theology was necessary as a collective for you to survive in that jungle. So Judaism became a practical thing to keep around as a body that, collectives would use when they don't want to put themselves in a polar position or a bipolar position, aligned with one of two warring camps. That's where you see Judaism. It's usually adopted by, you see kingdoms like Himyar, Khazar, for political reasons. So you see now, like, Judaism ended a long time ago. Rabbinic Judaism was just a stubborn man. Whoever Hanasi is, I just don't believe one guy could revive a whole thing. clearly there was some other intelligentsia body or something. Which, I mean, Jews weren't wiped out of Palestine either, so I'm sure there were people, good people who had some, intuitive, honest, objective understanding of tradition that might have, been critical to the Pharisees. I mean, could be. But the Mishnah, I don't really believe it's a one-man effort, but whatever, let's say it is that's it. What do you got to show for anything other than this one-man effort that isn't much, that apparently leads to some sort of collective effort that culminates, I guess, in the Babylonian temple. Let me see the Masoretic text. I mean, no thanks to Jews, right? That would be, thank you, Muslims. It would be, thank you. I think Christianity is just a sabotage, anyways. Or Pauline Christianity, which, by the way, I've heard from rabbis. You can chat GPT as well. It's not binding or something. It's there though, but within is that Paul was this infiltrator, he was a spy, or Peter, actually it's Peter, So there are rabbis who tell you that they have a tradition where Peter is an infiltrating spy. This figure that Christians call Peter is actually a spy. And the whole purpose of this was to detach Christianity as a messianic Jewish movement from Judaism. That's what the objective was. And so Peter goes to Rome, the seat of the empire, and coordinates at a state level, a way of tackling this messianic movement as some sort of common enemy. So it's always weird when you're how did it get out of hand to this point? There's still a lot of Jews, this whole narrative that they taught us from maybe a decade ago. I don't know, some people are still in the dark. Still Plato's cave shit going on. Humans don't change. I believe Paul is also an infiltrator or I believe he's an agent of the state, Rome itself. So I believe he's an agent of, he's just like the guy in the government that he's a Zionist, and he's Jewish, so he's connected. But he's still a Fed, right? Same thing. That's what Paul was. Paul was a Fed. And, Paul did the whole investigation, snooping around. He acted like someone who received a vision of clarity and a radical transformation. So, he used his reputation as someone who was an agent of the state, as a trampoline to credibility. So very, very smart guy, Paul. If he's even real, honestly, if he's not just these Romans were very sophisticated. They had if the Jews were running something like the Sicarii, these assassins who run around just shagging people, kind of similar to how Palestinians are doing in Jerusalem, for example. It's weird. When I tell when you look at things, it's just Palestinians look very similar to ancient Israelites. The very conditions, the geography even is very similar. It's literally makes you wonder. Personally, crazy. Maybe you could say it's crazy. Whatever. I always think about divine providence. Always what's the next chess piece that God is going to move? Oh yeah, I think it seems like it's the setting up of the stage to look very similar to the times of Jesus. And as the moment that brought Jesus, into presenting himself to the public, there was a reason. Yeah, Christians don't really know the reason. They just say that he was supposed to start his, predestined 3-year whatever nonsense. But whatever that factor is, most likely is a setting, and I think it's replicating itself. I think it's forming itself right now. I think if you look at it, isn't it ironic that the very West Bank, which is pretty much the main representation of any sort of functioning Palestinian society at this point, is in Judea and Samaria, the very lands that the people, this mob who calls themselves, Israel now, is claiming, deeds to. It's very ironic, dude. It is very ironic. And you have Rome, and what does Rome do? They have a vassal king, Herod, which is just Abu Mazen. That's pretty much it. Abu Mazen is literally our vassal king. He's the vassal king of Judea. It's fucking ridiculous, man. And guess what? We're facing the threat of incurring the ire of Rome, Israel, that might lead to the destruction of our temple mosque. Goodness, how times back then are very similar to times right now. So our Pharisees are practically the PA. Listen to what they say, but don't do what they do because they're hypocrites, right? Well, exactly. Exactly. I'd say the PA probably are closer to Jews than a lot of the people call themselves Jews. Definitely heading in the same trajectory, aren't they? I mean, what happens in the Common Era? There's eventually And I've said this before. May whoever is hearing remember this very well. There will be a third intifada. It will be in the West Bank. It will happen. This war is not going to come to an end. This will escalate. It will go through changes and stages. It's a domino effect. That's it. Someone called Leif and Sinwar lit the keg. They lit it up. So it's set to blow. Everybody knows it's gonna blow, dude. So at this point, I believe everybody is waking up. At least all the Arabs are waking up. So the Arabs are like, I guess the United States just let that shit happen against Qatar. So Israel just is doing shit unchecked. This means someone else could do shit unchecked against us. Doesn't necessarily warrant an American response. So why the fuck are we paying these people at this point? Did they just flip the whole petrodollar dynamic on us? Did this motherfucking Trump guy just European us? Is that what he just did? Because this is what he did to the Europeans, with NATO. He tried to flip the cost of NATO and the maintenance and the very stand-up of NATO on the Europeans. As now American presence becomes a privilege, not a conqueror or a victor of World War II that's holding territory. Anyways, I think there's going to be probably, because there was like 2 Jewish revolts. Yeah, right. First Jewish revolt, second Jewish revolt. I guess Bar Chochmah, I mean, hey, technically, if God is being fair, Jesus should show up, and we should have the opportunity. I mean, our tradition says we're not going to have issues. No one's going to reject him. I mean, I think the Mahdi figure is supposed to guarantee that we accept him. Interesting. Might be explained. Side note. Yeah, we Muslims won't have contentions with Jesus. I mean, his arrival will be just a divine act on its own. No one would be able to deny it anyways. So Jesus can't even be denied. Just his very presence, anything that is literally antagonistic towards him just ends up decomposing or dissolving. So Jesus is coming with like absolute authority. Like it's not, the guy's radiating divine, authority. Coming like angels, bro. It doesn't matter if hopefully before Palestinians get to a point, or maybe the Arab world, I believe Palestinians, because the more I've learned about like Jewish history and like
teachings and eschatology and like Christianity and their teachings and more of like been connecting the dots and like blueprint, like see, the wave, the spectrum of like God's divine providence, like how he's playing chess in the history of humanity. Like, where is it all? Because I think one of the things that prove that you're not connected with God, you're no sons of God, is that God doesn't even reveal anything to you, doesn't speak to you, nor are you on a trajectory that's already been set by a prophet. Jews are lost. They're mimicking that they have prophecies or that God is behind them. They're artificially creating it. And it's weird because like the Zohar definitely shows up after Islam, after Hadith. And, I believe the coincidences with the Zohar clearly have to mean that the Zohar is copying from our tradition at this point. Or it could be just a manipulation, which also could be the case. It's just we don't really, the Arab world, the Muslim world, literally has no interest in studying up on rabbinic Judaism. Which is extremely interesting on its own. Until I realized like rabbinic Judaism is just like hot air. They literally got nothing. Like Maimonides, like it's like they almost want to like scream them out of the grave. What the fuck did Maimonides do? Are you guys acting like Maimonides is Einstein? Like, guy didn't come up with no theory of relativity. He didn't change the equations of physics. Like, the fuck? Like, Maimonides is literally someone who took something that was trending in the Muslim world at the time and gave it a Jewish spin. And then you claim like he's literally like a reviver or some like head honcho authority, like shit, like Moses almost. And you should always be careful when like rabbis call someone Moses. When you see rabbi, run away from that guy. Whoever they, you see some sort of consensus on a guy they call like a second or a third Moses or whatever, just run. Like, if it puts things into perspective, and because they act like they actually cared about the lineages and the maternal and the they actually were like very nuanced about it even before like rabbinic Judaism, during the times of the temple Judaism. Explain Akiva. It's like this guy's a convert, and he's like the second Moses. Like, as a convert. So it's not just like a goy. He's not even a seed of Abraham. And rabbinic Jews like they're about to like circumcise him like for the second time, like if they could, orally. It's just the way they speak about Akiva, like it's like almost like a giveaway. Like I mean, you can't prove anything absolutely, but like it's like, is it a coincidence that one of the most revered figure in like rabbinic Judaism is like this convert? Just kind of weird. Not only that, this convert leads to the trajectory of events. Yeah, Bar Kokhba, military leader, blah, 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 but he must have had religious consensus behind him. There's no way the people would have followed him in accordance to the numbers, apparently, that fucking Josephus talks about. I think it's fucking outrageous, grossly exaggerated. But whatever. I mean, yeah, the potential Josephus could have had if the motherfucker just stayed objective to the facts. Yeah. Jews, man. Jews, bro. Can't. No integrity, is there? It's just like zero integrity. I mean, fuck humanity. Like, at the end of the day, I don't blame you when you allow this ideology in your midst, or even if you don't believe it yourself, and you have your community orbiting this ideology. It's still an idol. It's still there. You know, you still have this ideology that's built around like God sending a revelation to a select elect, an elect, like. And for some reason, only this group, the mighty cosmos creator, God. You understand God? Yeah, billion years. You understand what a billion years is? Older than that. Something that makes that look like a millimeter on a ruler. Or a fraction of a millimeter. Dude, bro, Jesus Christ. The more I realize, like, dude, we're playing, we're beyond. I think when like it's really shown to us, like reality, I think humanity is gonna suffer, two, psychologically catastrophic moments. It will come in the dunya where there will be some discovery, some revelation by nature, not necessarily angel or supernatural, that will literally, break everything. And so in this world, so we'll walk around like zombies practically, just from the realization. And then the second one is going to be Judgment Day. How horrific it's going to be. I think these two events are going to leave like an imprint in human consciousness, like in the forever from now. But this God, the one who is literally left us with this paradox universe, like he's trolling us. God literally is trolling us with this universe that he's got set up right now. We're like poking and measuring and like surprise. This is what God is like. Here, it's black hole right here. Quantum mechanics. Oh, you thought you were. You thought you were tripping. You thought it was. You thought I was done here. Quantum mechanics. Oh, here's a black hole. Black holes are real. Yeah, yeah. By the way, all this physics crap you guys spent like jerking yourselves off and like building these nukes and shit. Yeah, by the way, this shit ain't even fundamental. It's not even fundamental. It's it's actually information. it's oh my good God. What the other than that, we are experiencing change and temporality. Logically, it shouldn't exist. Honestly, this shouldn't exist. We are literally witnessing a miracle. I sometimes I thought like certain verses in the Quran might be obsolete, like in the sense like, this is a work of witchcraft, or we're under the effect of like sorcery, you know, to imply like whatever this revelation that this prophet is preaching, the effect that you see in the masses clearly is induced. It's sorcery, it's trickery, it's an illusion. And even if they see the miracle itself, they're under an illusion, you know, witchcraft. Yeah, common co. So you would think that this is obsolete, like, you know, miracles, the age of miracles is over. In a way, the age of miracles has started. It started when we realized, like, you know, maybe it's Newton, if you want to go. But sure, Einstein. Theory of relativity, yeah. I'd say, I mean, at least based on it seems like, yeah, but even Einstein got it wrong. Like, a lot of people, like, act like Einstein was this, like, slam dunk kind of guy. No, he wasn't. It was definitely a group effort. Which I don't know why isn't highlighted enough. Might be, for, you know, side panel, someone put that in some sort of notes for, you know, when we have our anti-Jew, you know, mash kind of get-togethers. Maybe we can put that in the minutes somewhere. But it just started, and the physics and the way which I don't think people, like, it's dawned on them yet, or people just don't give a shit. Like, I mean, I don't know how other people live their lives. I don't know. I got like a tether considering God. I got a field. I'm connected. You know, some people live like they're a needle in a haystack. It's just fucking weird. Like, no, you know, depth. Like, no global. They don't see themselves as a global citizen, some part of something divine. I don't know. Again, Plato's kid. But a lot of the initial, like, expectations of Einstein, they turned out to be wrong. And even right now, you know, these fundamental, like, these scientists, physicists, you know, thought was intuitive and should be the case, actually is the opposite, and this continues to happen. So and quantum mechanics, and even with black holes now. So the physics seems to be pouring out a fountain of just, like, error, smiley face, troll. Like, this is what the universe is doing right now. So this is what physics is telling us about the universe. The universe is trolling us. God is trolling us. You got dark matter, you got black holes, you got quantum, you got, like, awareness. It's inside out, outside in. Reality is this, like, I mean, teterax. It wouldn't even be. I think it's definitely beyond that, but it's there, but it's not there. It's crazy. That's where physics is at. So I think we're gonna be the days of rapid discovery, those days of, like, Einstein, you know, 1920s, or you know, I think that era is ended. we're going into like uncharted territories. I don't know. I believe there's going to be a long-term impact because of this. Just in academia, like research and stuff. It might lead to like a renaissance in a way, maybe for philosophy, or just a new way of approaching science, like logic and reason. Because just like we're not going to have the technology or the energy to like, observe things with our senses. We're just not. It's all being done mainly by math. It's we're being trolled, dude, and the way with the time dilation works. What is death?
Time dilation.
What is time? Like, bro, like you could be from the moment you're dying. If the scales, if we're looking at the quantum scale, if you truly understand, and I can't even wrap my head, but I've used some examples like as I've been looking into this stuff, like help me like have some sort of mental image. The scale between you and that critical point, like quantum mechanics, that in scale is greater than the scale between you and the expanding universe. And I'm just let that. I don't know what to. I'm still processing that, but it's kind of a mind fuck. I mean, what would the difference for you be living on a planet like Earth, the size of Earth, that is hospitable, versus a planet like, if possible, physics, Saturn, something just bigger, where you would scale up in size? Like, what does it matter if you have like what was that movie where they shrink everybody down and they live in like this ecosystem pod, and like it's like a utopia because like food supply is just like endless, because like a can of tuna can feed like a whole community because of the scale, right?
What movie was that?
What's that movie where they shrink people down? There's like,
it's not the superhero one, right? Well, Little Ass dude.
Yeah, it's like they discover technology, and then there's like human migration into these like very small cities. Is it I Shrunk the Kids? No, I don't think so. Oh, okay. Shrink people.
Someone said downsizing. Royal said downsizing.
I think that's what it is. Downsizing. Yeah. That rang a bell. See, what would the difference be, really? Like, does it really change your experience? Like, if no one ever told you, like we didn't even know these scales existed, anyways. I'm just recently become familiar with like a Planck scale and what this means. I'm still processing it, but I'm just saying, there's like, if what it is, it's all just geometry. What's really the difference between a triangle the size of Empire State and a triangle the size of an atom? Yes, it's really no difference. So it might not be the case. I don't know. Maybe there's something that prevents it from happening. But why couldn't God just put a universe right now between you and whatever, the closest thing, the wall, I guess? whole universe, a civilization, a living thing, in like a quantum scale. What would I'm just saying at that point it's just like, what is it to be the size of a galaxy versus to be the size of an neutron electron? What is it? Nothing.
You mean like what would it do for you?
The problem, this is, giving me something like an angst because I can't, because I feel like my intuitive, which it's not something I was necessarily conscious of, but my intuitive understanding of like the seven heavens, something that would include scale and like an alignment and an above, it's kind of forcing me to like try to come up with a secondary theory on what like seven heavens actually means.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept, seven heavens.
It's just like scale, like, why is it like in our way of thinking, like God has to be like the biggest man on the block? Why? Like, where does that come from? I mean, clearly it comes from like a history of paganism. That shit like corrupted the way we think. But if we fundamentally think about God the way at least the Christians kind of got to, but I don't know why, for some reason, awareness is like this word they try to, I don't know. I mean, clearly
I put it in the ChatGPT, and it said in ancient physiological thought, it says ancient Mesopotamian and Greek cosmologies also imagined seven layers of heaven/sky, often linked to the seven visible celestial bodies: the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because you see atheists or even academia obviously has to entertain the theory that maybe it was the Greeks that started all this and we're simply copying their shit. That is plausible. I mean, might not be plausible because we're believers in a way. I'm not saying confirmation bias, but
or that maybe they've they tapped into something that we didn't get to later, right? Like we got this through revelation, but maybe they learned
exactly. That's the Islamic. So that's the internal explanation how we justify these things or these similarities. We just say, well, it could be that there was a tradition or revelation that came within that nation. That is what led to these similarities. So, or they're just natural truths that they discovered, which resonate with the natural truths, revealed. Something like that.
Yeah, I meant to thumbs that up.
It is interesting. I do believe there's something more behind like the Greek gods. I think Zeus, and I think there's like these are like somehow representative of real people or figures or something. Maybe angels even. I don't know. Just deified. And if according to the Quran, the angels would just absolutely despise even coming close to somewhere like that. So if I was an angel called Zeus, and I had an experience on Earth where people have worshipped me as God, I wouldn't even show my face around.
Why is that?
Just even though they understand like free will and humans and God did this, like it's just to them, it's like, you know, still God, like this guy is insulting you in my name. And to them, it would be just like extremely like humbling, or like they would just, yeah, you know, that's how they are. Like God is absolute to the angels. Like he's just like he's present, and I mean both in an awareness, a consciousness, but also in a fundamental like gravity kind of way. Like it's just God is the he's connected. He's plugged into the grid, and it's only him. he's got the codes to the grid. Honestly, like I do believe in the Quran and all that stuff, but even as a kid, like I've always like again, because I'm like someone who just grew up believing in God, and like believed that of course there's this I don't know, as a child it didn't seem even something that deserved even a question back, or like you know, questioning, a line of questioning. Oh, God, yeah, that makes sense. Wasn't even, I don't know why. It's just like, yeah, of course. I remember like maybe like a few like trying to just think about it, but like I don't know. As a kid, for some reason, it clicked. Maybe influenced by movies or something, but I always felt, I don't know, as a kid when you like develop like consciously, you become like aware of yourself. I don't know. You start like staring in the mirror or something. Like I don't know if you had that experience as a kid, or you remember that.
Staring in the mirror, or
yeah,
like
you ever
consciousness.
remember yeah, that moment as a kid when you like finally look in the mirror and you're like, me, and you start like truly like kind of like you know, analyzing the geometry that is your face and who you are.
Oh, and also even relatives. I actually remember the distinct moment I came to terms with as a child that my mom was my mother, and not just like this person that like has been nurturing for me and caring for me, right? But like they're my parent, and I came at it. You know what I mean? Like that I remember that.
Oh, understanding like what is your mother or father?
Yeah, like even outside of myself, it was like, it was crazy. I think I went up to my mom and I was just like looking at her like, wow, you know, like I don't know, it blew my mind.
I don't know. For some reason, to me, like asking those questions was always done within like the inner consciousness, like inner dwelling, like within in your mind, or you know, contemplation. It was never like professed out loud, like kind of thing. I don't know why. Is it like why? I don't know. Why did I see it as something too complex? I don't know. But yeah, you can remember. I don't know. A lot of people don't remember, but I do remember glimpses of recognizing myself, or contemplating, you know, myself or my parent, or just like what is going on. You know, what I've been told. You know, kind of like registering. Like I don't know if you ever study for an exam, like maybe before you go to sleep, like you just like kind of run through the information. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
It helps it stick. Like it's just like,
yeah, it's like a refresh. You read like the outlines of it. But yeah, memory is another crazy concept. Like sometimes you really unlock memories.
Dude, I don't even. I can't. I don't know what is.
I thought I could make sense of it all. Like I thought if I could just logic, reason, I'm the guy. I believe I can see stuff too. And I feel like, and then when you try to like awareness and try to like theory of everything, this whole thing, it's just like, nah, dude, this we're so clueless. This is tricky. I don't think we'll ever figure this out. It's not. We're not gonna figure it out this life. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's by design. I think too. Like
I think we're very clueless. I think we're so clueless that the ancients, when we all resurrected, and we might be talking. I don't know if we'll even have the time to like side chat. You guys were like all cavemen.